Stone wrote, my sleeper team, the Seattle Seahawks, and you picked against them twice in a row, Pete.
After the playoffs, and I forgot, I don't believe what I read, especially when I wrote it myself. Today, will I pick against them again? Well, the Raiders would like a shot clock if this was a basketball game. They want to play fast, put fear, go long. Seattle would like to keep it close, try and win it late. What'll happen? Yes, I'm going against the Seahawks again. The Mark Mosley School of Handicapping. Keep doing it till you get it right. I'm taking the Raiders minus the 7, Len.
And you're picking a Raider-Washington Super Bowl. Washington just beat San Francisco 24-21. All right, Pete. And that'll do it for our special AFC Championship Game edition of NFL 83. At halftime, we'll have highlights and Dave Marish's interview with NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle. For all of us at NFL 83, I'm Len Berman. Thank you for watching. Dick and Merlin coming up next. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Tuesday after the A-Team, it's the first hit of 84, Riptide.
Yeah, they're great guys, aren't they?
Then it's Remington Steele at a new time.
Thanks for the warning.
Be there!
When you're away at college, your folks tell you to call home as often as you can. They want to hear everything. Then you hear about the big phone bills. Tell them to switch to Sprint. You know why? Sprint has these new volume discounts. You make more than $25 worth of calls a month, your savings get bigger. And that's just the beginning. Then you can call your folks and tell them absolutely everything. Well, not everything. Call Sprint. Find out about it.
Every 10 seconds during the past year, someone, somewhere, for some mysterious reason, switched to Burger King. Switch. Who knows why? But it's added up to millions of switchers. Maybe even
You!
You only have one winter vacation. The question is, which vacation? Eastern Airlines has vacations where you can unwind or unbend or explore whole other worlds. Eastern has so many choices, you need a travel agent to find the right one. Don't go to a warm place cold.
Calling all man watchers Monday at 7:30 on Evening Magazine.
For decades, they have applauded and promoted the star system. Today, this Coliseum stage with an audience of over 90,000 spectators heralds the stars that have brought Seattle and Los Angeles to this championship of the American Football Conference. For the home team, the Los Angeles Raiders, 12-4. The Stars quarterback Jim Plunkett, running back extraordinaire Marcus Allen, tight end 92 catches Todd Christensen, back Lester Hayes, and defensive player of the year linebacker Rod Martin. For the Seahawks, these are the heroes that have made Seattle the Cinderella team in the playoffs. Dave Craig, the quarterback, the AFC player of the year running back Chris Warner, wide receiver Steve Largent, defensive back Pro Bowler Kenny Easley, and sack master Jacob Green. Those are the stars for Seattle and Los Angeles. One company will take its show to Tampa in 2 weeks as NBC Sports welcomes you to the championship game of the American Football Conference. Today's game is brought to you by Chevrolet, official U.S. cars and trucks of the 14th Olympic Winter Games. Chevrolet and you taking charge. By American Airlines, doing what we do best. And by AT&T Information Systems, a leader in communications and information management. Some of those in this crowd of over 90,000 may say the Seattle Seahawks brought their weather with them. It is cloudy, foggy, temperature in the 60s for this championship game. A huge strong at the Coliseum. Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen, our congratulations to Joe Gibbs. Washington Redskins, they've earned the right to defend their Super Bowl championship. Will it be Seattle? Will it be the Raiders? You've been on on the field for a championship game. What are the feelings now?
Feelings running high. They're hot down there to get this kick, get it off, and get it running. I'll tell you, there's only one spot left in the Super Bowl. You dream about that. You start your year thinking about it, and here they are waiting to battle it out.
Well, the surprising member brought to this ball, Chuck Knox, Seattle Seahawks. And Chuck Knox kind of likes the idea that his team is a solid underdog again.
We really don't mind the underdog role because it gives us a chance to prove that people can be wrong.
You played for him.
I played for 5 different coaches, head coaches. He was my favorite. Look you in the eye, and boy, can he get you ready to play.
Well, they say the same good things about Tom Flores, the head coach of the Los Angeles Raiders. Tongue-in-cheek, we asked him about the pressure that he feels coming into this game, and he related the fact that he said, well, just about everything. Respect, players, bonuses, prestige, Super Bowl, my wife's favor, maybe even my job. Pressure, what do you mean?
He's 6-1 in playoffs, and he has the better team. He knows it, but they've got to prove it here today.
Let's talk about the personality of the Los Angeles Raiders. Intimidating is one of the first words that come out.
Power and pressure are 2 other very important words. That's the kind of thing they would like to do to the Seahawks today. And the thing that they will do that with is a very strong defense and a multitude of offensive tools.
No question, but what the Raiders, I think the consensus is that they have the most talent in the league, and they have 2 players that weren't around when they played Seattle the 2 times Seattle beat them.
In Mike Haynes, Cliff Branch. Haynes, of course, buoys up that defensive secondary, and Branch is their deep threat.
They were not available when Seattle upset the Raiders during the regular season on both occasions. Now let's talk about the character of the Seattle Seahawks and the fact that they really forced the ball to be left on the ground. They forced the mistakes and made advantage of those.
They really are the people who make that happen. They knock it down. They take the fumble away from you. They take the interception. And look how the Raiders have helped in those losses. They've given the ball away 23 times. They've only taken it away 3 times in those 4 losses during the season.
Well, we're ready to kick it off. The Seattle Seahawks will receive to open this championship game. The winner will meet the Washington Redskins in the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Chris Barr getting ready, this crowd on its feet. One of the largest in Coliseum history, over 90,000. 92,000 tickets have been sold. Zachary Dixon, a very dangerous return man. They'll try to keep the ball away from him. Barr signals we're ready. The championship is underway. All the way to the 40-yard line. David Hughes, they kicked away from Dixon, and Hughes gives Seattle good field position. Here, the starting offense for the upstart Seahawks. Dave Craig, their unknown quarterback. They know him now in the great Northwest. Kurt Warner, rookie, Penn State. Cullen Bryant, blocking back. He played here with the Rams. Paul Johns, dangerous deep receiver. And the clever Steve Largent. He had 11 touchdown catches this year. Second only to Todd Christensen of the Raiders, who had a dozen. First down for Craig and Seattle at the 40-yard line. Warner, no surprise there. He gets about 4 before Bob Nelson, one of the inside linebackers, can make the tackle. On the front wall for Seattle, the Reverend Charlie Young. He's trying to get into the 3rd Super Bowl with 3 different teams. Ron Essink, he's had a fine year. Edwin Bailey for the injured Reggie McKenzie. Blair Bush, the former Cincinnati Bengal. Robert Pratt, the ex-Baltimore Colt. And Steve August. He was part of that Dorsett trade of a few years ago. Second down and 6. Warner. He can't get outside. Alzado and Martin teamed up on that defensive right side. It'll be 3rd down and about 4. Let's check the defense. And the Raiders are tough up front. Howie Long on his way to the Pro Bowl. Reggie Kinlaw on the nose from Oklahoma. And the veteran Lyle Alzado. Darth Raider, they call him. Ted Hendricks, All-Pro again. Matt Millen, one of the top tacklers in the league. Bob Nelson, who just made that last stop. Rod Martin, voted the AFC Player of the Year on defense. Lester Hayes, touchdown last week. Mike Haynes at the other corner. Mike Davis at safety. And the second-year man, Van McElroy, on his way to the Pro Bowl. Out of the shotgun, 3rd and 5. That's Dornick in motion. They like to go to him. Down the middle, it's going to be intercepted by Lester Hayes at the 31-yard line. A flag is down. Hayes, the man who intercepted early against Pittsburgh last week for a touchdown. And we have Some pushing and shoving at the other end. Well, the Raiders like to do that. That's part of their game plan. They like to intimidate.
Dick, they'd like to get your mind off the game and onto the rowdiness and the fighting on the field. That was Pickell fighting. It's going to be a reception. It looked like they tagged Lester Hayes for pushing in the secondary. He was there ahead of the receiver. Can't do it that way.
Number 37. Interference, number 37.
To Seattle instead of the ball. Lester Hayes gives it up to Seattle on the interference.
Look at that classic stance. Hayes says, come and get it. I got it right here. Byron Walker working one-on-one. Now there's the bump. He cannot push him in past that 5-yard area. Hayes dropping the shoulder into him and pushing him away. Another look at it from a different angle as you watch Craig get rid of the football. And of course Lester is there, but the official behind him took out the yellow flag and nullified the play.
And instead of the turnover, first down at the 32, Warner. Haynes has showed why he is such a great addition to this team. He's terrific on coverage, and look at him meet the run.
And the key to this ball game is what the Raiders have done so far. They have been able to hammer on that big back, Warner. Now, Warner is the key to this offense, Dick. He's the key to this offense. They got to have his running production. And here's a quote from Ted Hendricks. They know it. It's not complicated. We've got to stop Kurt Warner. If they stop Warner, then they can apply the full pressure of that defense to the passing game. And boy, that's awesome. You don't want to play catch-up football against this team.
Now with 57 sacks, second best in the NFL. Second and 10. Craig. Oh, there's the fumble. We'll wait for the signal. You'll hear a roar if it's for the Raiders. Still no notice from the officials. Seattle maintains. So already the ball has bounced right twice for this young Seattle team against Tom Flory's Raiders.
But that's exactly what we talked about. On a must-pass situation, look at the kind of pressure they get on Craig. Craig from the blind side will not see the defender coming. Right here, Rod Martin, number 53, and Martin slapped that ball away, knocked it loose. Pratt had a chance at it. A couple of Raiders had a chance at it. Essink, I think, the man that finally came up with the football.
8-yard loss to Seattle, back to the 40-yard line. That probably takes them out of field goal range, although Johnson has a 54-yarder this season. So shotgun time, third down and 18. Craig complete to Largent at the 30, but that's short of the first down. Mike Davis made the tackle. Let's see if that's enough to get Norm Johnson on the field. And now we have some more push and shove. Boy, they are ready emotionally, both sides. Maybe too ready.
We talked about emotion being the key. What had happened is Dornick came in, lost his balance, jumped over the pile, and I think stepped on Mike Davis at the end of that play. Davis came up off the ground, and he went right after Dornick.
Here's the play. Craig's throw a little low, so Largent, after he made the reception, that's all he could get.
Another different angle on that last play as you watch the finale of the play. Now there's Dornick coming over the top, and you saw him trying to catch his balance. I think Davis read that as an attempt to go after his head, and he came up looking for Dornick.
Well, apparently they called that pass not complete, but trapped. So in to punt is Jeff West. The ball was trapped. Greg Pruitt deep back at the 10-yard line. They go after West, and that's going to be a penalty. They really nailed West. So the ball goes into the end zone. Let's see how the call goes on roughing the kicker or running into the kicker.
I think it'll be a roughing call. Otis McKinney, 23, really came in there. Now, if he can touch that football, he can go into that kicker. He can't do it otherwise, and he had no chance at that football. Took a bad angle coming in, just leveled Jeff West, and Jeff will trade his body for that play. But there it is right there. Oh. One question, did Dornick push him in? Dornick back there getting a shove on him. Look at it from the other angle. That's Brown, Dave Brown, 22. But number 23, Otis McKinney, makes no attempt
to avoid the kicker, and I think that's what they're going to ticket him for.
Only 5 yards on the penalty, but more importantly, a first down to Seattle. So that's 3 plays already in this first quarter that have all gone to the Seattle side. It's been that kind of year for the Seahawks. They wouldn't be here otherwise. There's some magic brewing in the Northwest. Let's see if they capitalize. Intercepted by Hayes. That would be a touchdown unless Warner can catch him. He can. Warner saves the touchdown at the 25-yard line. There's a Cullen Bryant. Cullen Bryant amazingly using his speed to deny Hayes a score.
You don't expect a big fullback to be able to get over there and catch Lester Hayes, but Lester's not afraid to gamble. He did it last week, came up with a big early interception last week, and here he is again, looking from the opposite side of the field. Craig pulling the trigger, not a good throw. Largent doesn't have a chance, but watch Cullen Bryant, a big 230-pound fullback, getting all the way across the field and making the saving tackle.
We have our first time out. Raiders in scoring position.
Taking charge with Cavalier. The hottest selling Chevrolet today. Cavalier. More horsepower than the 3 leading imports with a 2-liter electronically fuel-injected engine. Cavalier. More sedan room than Honda, Accord, Nissan Sentra, or Toyota Tercel. The front drive Cavaliers. Grab one for a cool, low price. Chevrolet. And you. Taking charge.
Beginning January 9th, daily news coverage of the unusual, extra dimension, psychic visions of a Super Bowl kick, a new search for the Bigfoot monster, and a Hollywood star and her past lives.
I think there's a psychic connection with everything, everyone.
Starts Monday at 7 on Channel 3.
The Pro Bowler Lester Hayes, just as he did last week, 1 interception taken away, but not that one. He returns at 44 yards. Watch 32, Cullen Bryant. This is a desirous play by the 236-pound fullback, and he almost forces the turnover back as Hayes was having trouble controlling the ball, as you can see.
Dick, that's one thing that Seattle has not done. They've only turned the ball over once in the last 3 weeks, and that in the last part of that Miami game. But Craig pulled the trigger the wrong place on that one and got the ball to the Oakland, or to the Los Angeles Raiders.
27-yard line. The give to Marcus Allen. He gains about 3. Keith Butler, one of the inside linebackers, made the hit. Defensively or offensively first, let's check it. Jim Plunkett, he says he's had one of his best years. Marcus Allen, over 1,000 yards. Kenny King, a big touchdown on a reverse last week. Cliff Branch, leading receiver in playoffs in yardage. Malcolm Barnwell, the other wide out. Todd Christensen led the league with 92 catches at tight end. We'll check the offensive line for you after this play.
You can't blame him for smiling.
He was swallowing the canary on that smile. 2nd and 7. Allen on a draw. He's got a first down. He's to the 5-yard line. Kenny Easley made the tackle. 2 men who played against each other in college on this same Coliseum field. Allen at USC and Easley at UCLA.
Seattle defense has given up a lot of yardage over this season, and they've given up a lot of yardage in the playoffs. Allen taking advantage of an opening there, showing you his tremendous skill as an open field runner. The pressure squarely on the defense. They need to try and get a turnover. They've done it well in the past.
1st and goal. Allen hit in the backfield. Jacob Green, first-round pick from Texas A&M, led the Seahawks with 16 sacks this year. Bruce Davis, UCLA at left tackle. Charlie Hanna from Alabama at left guard. The center, Dave Dolby, UCLA. Right guard, Mickey Marvin from Tennessee. Henry Lawrence, Florida A&M, on his way to the Pro Bowl at right tackle.
Nice battle out there between Lawrence and Green. Jacob Green has 4.5 sacks off Lawrence this year. They're going at it tooth and nail already.
2nd and goal. Allen to the 3-yard line. Joe Nash, number 72. He's the man who chased him down from behind on that longer run. Nash, who has beaten out Tuiasa Sopo at nose tackle, made the stop. There's the defense. Green, Nash, and Jeff Bryant, the front three. The linebackers, young and mobile. Bruce Schultz led the team in tackles. Sheldon Robinson had 2 touchdowns against the Raiders on fumbles this year. Butler and Greg Gaines has moved into the starting lineup. Kerry Justin on one corner, veteran Dave Brown at the other. Kenny Easley and John Harris are the safeties. It's 3rd and goal at the 3. Allen has carried the ball on every play for the Raiders. Plunkett, and he throws it away. Big Bruce Schultz, he's built like Ted Hendricks, had Christensen well blanketed.
Some of you at home might be wondering why they didn't call face masking, face guarding. If only one hand is up and it's not waving, they will not call you for face guarding the receiver. That ball overthrown, Schultz had done a good job of covering the receiver in the far end of the end zone. There it is right there. You see the one arm up, and he's not waving that arm, and Christensen knows he has no chance on that football. Plunkett wisely throwing it over his head.
Chris Barr enjoyed his best pro year in this his 8th season. This will be a 20-yard attempt. And the Raiders use Lester Hayes' interception to take the early lead 3-0 on the Chris Barr field goal. So timeout here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. 8:47 remaining in the first quarter.
Seven years ago, Data Point sparked a revolution, a network of energy called ARC, linking an officer's machines together, letting them communicate with one another even over distance. The ARC local area network was born, and today, Data Point has more of them up and running than Wang, Xerox, and IBM combined. So for computers, workstations, office systems that work together, work with Data Point. We spark the revolution.
Chevy Tough is taking charge. Moisture and road salt are murder on a pickup, but Tough Chevy S10 comes with built-in corrosion-fighting zinc alloy steel, zinc pro metal, and large quantities of tough galvanized steel to help guard against rust. A whopping 277 square feet. Enough zinc-rich steel to make its own garage. For year-round protection, Chevy S10's got you covered with corrosion-fighting steel. Chevy Tough is taking charge.
Monday, it's all new bloopers and TV's greatest practical jokes as Dick Clark and Ed McMahon present all new pranks and pratfalls, all on Monday.
Head coaches get the credit, but the strategists are often in the assistant coaching corps.
Ray Prohaska, offensive coordinator, and he'll be setting up the offense on his side. On the other side, Charlie Sumner. Now, they don't have a defensive coordinator, but he's the man that calls the defenses for that Raider defense. Ball's in the air.
Chris Barr, again, kicking away from Dixon. David Hughes. 20. And is out to the 27-yard line. Hughes, powerful back. Did his playing in college at Boise State. He's a native of Honolulu. So the Seahawks dodged part of the bullet. They didn't give up the touchdown. Hayes, it looked like he might score Merlin, and then they had a chance 1st and goal and had to settle for 3 points, did the Raiders.
Kenny Myers, who calls a lot of the plays for this Seahawk offense, though, talked about the importance of getting off fast. They need a good start in this game. They don't want to get down to these Raiders. You can't really play good catch-up football against a team with a rush and with a good man-to-man coverage system.
Larson to the right. They go with 2 tight ends, and they're both to the left. Metzler and Charlie Young. Bryant. Kurt Warner slamming behind Bryant's block out across the 30-yard line. Kinlaw first to make contact for the Raiders.
Talked to Matt Millen about Warner, and he said that one of the big problems that the Raiders had with Warner, and Warner played well against them early, was that they were not able to keep all the holes covered on him. He cuts back so well, has such great vision, but they have done a good job today of having a lot of bodies in those holes where Warner has wanted to run. He's not been able to break a big run yet.
That yardage, over 1,400, led the AFC. This is David Hughes. Boy, he's got strong legs and carries Alzado a couple yards with him, as well as Rod Martin, 53, Haynes, 22. It is short of the 1st down at the 35-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and about 2.
These are pleasant downs for an offensive coordinator, for a quarterback, because with a short yardage situation on 3rd down, the defense must respect the possibility of the run. On 3rd and 7, they can tee it up and go after the passer.
The Coliseum, so much history, football, the Olympics in 32, the Olympics again in 84, jammed to capacity on a foggy Los Angeles day. It's 3rd and about 1.5. Warner close to a first down on 2nd effort. Alzado finally cut off the pursuit there and cut down the inside angle, and we'll see if it's a first down. Warner again showing you how he finds the daylight. He really runs behind the blocks without knowing exactly where he's going to go. The blocks telling.
Matt talked about the kind of blocking that they use in that offense of the Seattle Seahawks. He said they're a push and position team. Now, what he's saying really is they lock up one-on-one on you, and they try to get you to commit one way or the other. And Warner is so good at seeing those holes that he cuts them into the open territory.
And a first down on the legs of Warner. They had other things to say about Kurt Warner did these Raiders during the course of the week.
They certainly did.
While Alzado used different terminology to describe his talent.
Tom Flory 6-1 in the playoffs. Chuck Knox 3 different teams to the playoff. Knox, by the way, the only one of the 3 coaches to make the finals who hasn't gone to a Super Bowl.
No gain, maybe a yard. Ted Hendricks finally made the tackle. Warner forced wide, and now has only 11 yards and 5 carries.
Dick, every man on a defensive team has specific responsibility. Ted Hendricks' job is to string it out on the outside, and you saw him doing exactly that, stretching out to the outside here. Now, from the inside, you're getting pursuit from 55 Millen. And coming from the inside out now with another angle, you'll see Millen driving inside out, Hendricks stringing out the play. Hendricks actually makes this play because you can't get away from those long arms of his.
There's no angle in which to block him. Quick hitter by Warner again, and nothing much there. A couple of yards. Howie Long from Villanova. 13 sacks to lead the Raiders this year. Earned the right to go to the Pro Bowl. Made the stop.
Warner looking for some cutbacks, and the Raiders have done a good job of shutting off the backside. On the inside, 62 Kinlaw and 55 Millen. Millen locked up. There's that kind of lockup. He talked about position and push. He actually beat the block, but Warner able to dart inside. You also get a little feeling of the conservative nature of Knox. He would rather run the football. If they can establish the run, you'll see a lot of that here. That's what he's hoping to do.
But in 3rd and 7, forced into the shotgun. Craig in trouble. Greg Townsend, number 93, a rookie from TCU.
Townsend had 12 sacks on the season. That makes 13. That's the 2nd sack of the day. You get the sense of the reason that they don't want to have to be forced to throw the football. Craig just cannot find a receiver open, and the offensive line can't stop the Raider rush. Here he comes, number 93, Townsend coming on the outside. Right there, Pickell from the inside also getting a piece of that sack.
Jeff West, high but short. Greg Pruitt, no fair catch. Breaks a couple of tackles, and he's down at the Raider 27-yard line. So timeout with 4 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Raiders leading the Seattle Seahawks 3-0 as we reflect back on other AFC, AFL championships. How about 1968? The numbers were 12-13. Joe Namath, number 12. Don Maynard, number 13. And the Jets went on to the Super Bowl.
No two investments are alike. Some require discipline. Others require courage. Each has its place in molding your financial picture. As respected advisors to the serious investor, we at Shearson American Express recommend each investment be evaluated in terms of who you are, rather than just
dollars and cents. Shearson American Express and the serious investor. Minds over money.
It is the revelation of an automobile like none before. The new Mercedes-Benz 190 class. Surprisingly trim and lean and fast. A virtue enhanced by its aerodynamic architecture. It has the quickest reflexes of any Mercedes-Benz sedan. More than just a new automobile, it is a new class of automobile. The new Mercedes-Benz 190 class.
McEnroe from Wimbledon, Connors from the U.S. Open, Noah the French Open, and two-time defending champion Yvonne Lendl. 12 of the world's top tennis players battle in one of the most prestigious events in tennis, the Volvo Masters on NBC Sports.
Raider offense has the ball, so the defensive coaches go into the school room, go to that chalkboard.
Charlie Sumner, Willie Brown talking over philosophy, exactly how they want to work against that Seattle offense. And whatever they're doing, it's working so far.
They've held Warner to just a dozen yards. That was the key for them. They lead 3-0, 4.5 minutes remaining. First quarter here in Los Angeles. Marcus Allen with a huge hole is out to the 36-yard line. An 8-yard gallop before Greg Gaines could make the stop.
Dick, there are a lot of one-on-one wars down there on the line of scrimmage, and one of the most vital of those wars is between Henry Lawrence and Jacob Green. On this play, Lawrence faking the pass, getting Green upfield, a little draw play, does a good job. And look at that. You better believe he's feeling the pressure of his job today.
Allen picking up 8 yards, now has 30 for the first quarter. Second and 2. Batted in the air and complete. It appeared to be Joe Nash, the nose guard, who had his hand up.
I believe it was Jacob Green. It was 79, and you saw Jacob beaten out on the last play. Lawrence did a great job on that play of holding him on the line. But Jacob has one other advantage. He's got long arms. Good stop on the line of scrimmage. He knows he's not going to get to the quarterback, does the next best thing. Goes up, puts that arm on the football, and negates the pass.
Great camera coverage. We're right in Green's shoulder pass as he stops the Raiders on 2nd and 3. Now it's 3rd and 3. Marcus Allen to the 47 and a first down. Allen, who caught 68 passes during the course of the year to lead the American Conference running backs in pass reception. There it is.
He caught 5 last week, too, and what an all-around performer he is, and so dangerous. He's used in a variety of ways, and even when he doesn't have the ball, you have to respect his presence. So he's a good decoy as well. But he's all by himself here, finding a gap. That's Bruce Schultz, 58, cutting across. They found room underneath the linebackers.
Allen again, and he's to the 50-yard line, a gain of 3. Jeff Bryant, number 77, number 1 pick out of Clemson a couple of years ago, made the stop.
Dick, we talked about the position and push offense of the Seattle Seahawks. The running game of the Raiders predicated on physical strength. Big offensive linemen, one-on-one blocking. They don't use many combinations or traps. They come right after you, and they use their strength to drive you off the line.
Plucked it off play action. They can't get him. They're finally hit from behind, and Plunkett is tackled at the 48. Jacob Green persevering. It'll be 3rd down and about 5.
Plunkett's a gamer. Doesn't always look the best. Sometimes looks a little awkward out there. But look at the courage he shows here. Tremendous pressure. Still has his concentration downfield. Takes a couple of shots there. Tries to get around. Hanna was coming for the backside. He had to get away from him. Green knocked him down, but there's no sack on that play. Watch Green. He stays with it all the way, too. Comes all the way from the backside to finally make the tackle on Plunkett.
Plunkett doing a good job of not fumbling the football. On 3rd and 5. Number 35, Don Dufek. You talk about a story. Here's Dufek. He has been released by Seattle. He's like a bad penny. You can't get rid of him. They've released him 3 times, and they keep calling him back. He's just a kid that's tough, doesn't have the speed nor the size, but loves to play, and he's one of the top players on special teams and in that 5- and 6-back defense.
They put him in there. They actually used him almost as a linebacker on that play. He got right up in there and did his job extremely well. Ray Guy finally gets another opportunity here to show his stuff.
10 men on the line of scrimmage for Seattle. Paul Johns back at the 10-yard line. Beautiful spiral. Johns lets it go and into the end zone. Even if he touched it, doesn't matter. It's a muff, and the ball will come out to the 20-yard line. First down for the Seattle Seahawks and a timeout. 1:15 remaining in the first quarter. The Raiders lead by 3.
Move into more celebrity excitement. The new front drive Celebrity Eurosport. Special F41 sports suspension straightens out curves in a car that looks as special as it feels. Move into more celebrity. Eurosport. A touch of Europe at a Chevrolet price. Chevrolet. And you.
Taking charge. East Point, Maine and Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. East Point means a New England clam bake, summer fun and food at its best. And Milwaukee means beer, cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer, and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
And Old Milwaukee.
And Old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
A sporting event that combines the best in comedy, entertainment, politics, and professional golf. What a foursome. Join me for the 25th anniversary of the Bob Hope Desert Classic right here on NBC Sports.
Well, like coming home for this guy, Merlin Olsen. You played out there for so many years. You sense the real emotion. The crowd. It's usually not a very noisy crowd. They call themselves sophisticated in L.A. And they're hand clappers. They're not the noisy Eastern.
No, they're not. But they're here today, and that's as rowdy a reception as I've ever seen a team get in the Coliseum here. Played here a lot of times, Dick, and never played in front of a crowd this big. And have to tell you, only 2 occasions I really felt the crowd got involved. They could do it today.
Seattle trailing 3-0, ball at the 20-yard line. Warner, and again surrounded, gets only a couple. And Kurt Warner thus far has been kept well in check. And let's go back to that premise. The Raiders say number 1 and number 2 and number 3 on their list is to stop Kurt Warner. They stop him, they feel they can win easily.
They really do have the horsepower to knock down your passing game. If Warner can run effectively, he forces them to honor the run and also makes it possible for the run passes to be effective against the Raider defense.
Number 1 pick out of Penn State has only 14 yards so far in 8 carries. Going long for Metzler's and overshoots him, or Charlie Young rather. And Young was open. Mike Davis had been beaten, but Craig's throw was a bit too long. Alzado applied pressure on the quarterback.
There's the Reverend himself down there, and there's a man who plays with his emotional heart. Young coming off the ball, working on Mike Davis. Strong safety, number 36, put a good move on him. You saw him drive inside, but a lot of pressure on Craig. Had no chance to take advantage of that little edge that he had on the strong safety.
Lester Hayes interception, setting up a Chris Barr 20-yard field goal, the only points of this first quarter. That's Steve Largent in motion on 3rd and 8. Harold Jackson is short of the first down at the 27-yard line. Mike Haynes on the coverage, and Seattle will have to give up the ball.
Seahawks running a very complicated 3-wide receiver offense on one side. Motion by Largent, who stopped in the middle and then continued on across. But they could not fool the Raiders secondary. Raiders doing an excellent job of working one-on-one and controlling the receivers. You see them there jogging them man-to-man. Now, that's what you do when you're man-to-man. You stay on top of that man. You discourage the quarterback from throwing the football to him.
And that is the end of the first quarter of this American Conference Championship game. It's 3-0. The Los Angeles Raiders leading the Seattle Seahawks. 14 years ago, it was Unitas to Perkins, 68 yards, and the Baltimore Colts had beaten the Raiders, and they went on to the Super Bowl.
The great cars of Europe priced far out of reach until now. Renault presents the road to affordability. Renault Alliance, acclaimed for its smooth, comfortable ride, with sedan comfort for 5 and their luggage, fuel efficient, fuel injected, European technology that's affordable. $59.59. Renault Alliance, built in America.
The one to watch, the one to watch, the one to watch.
Renault.
To get ahead in business these days, you've got to be fast. You not only have to be fast, you have to be faster than the next guy. And as fast as you are, there's always someone else who thinks he's faster than you. And the faster you go, the faster everyone else tries to get ahead of you. And the faster you have to go to keep up with the fastest. And no matter how fast you go, everyone everywhere is always trying to be faster. So you have to be really fast, tremendously fast, incredibly fast, or you fall behind someone else who is faster. Faster than Jimmy, faster than Joey, faster than Janie, and faster than
To get ahead in business these days, you have to go with a company who invented the whole idea of fast. Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
Hoppity toe, wickety whack, flippity flop, Jiminy criminy, whoopity scoopity, zoom it, move it, rocket.
Michelob, something speak for themselves.
It goes without saying. Only the very finest ingredients can give you the smooth and mellow taste of Michelob. Michelob. Some things speak for themselves.
The winner to play, the Washington Redskins in Tampa Bay Super Bowl 2 weeks hence. The Raiders lead 3-0 after the first period. And on this first play of the second quarter, Jeff West fighting the enemy. May the force be with him, or with the Raiders, I guess is the case. At the other end, Greg Pruitt. Short kick. Pruitt, fair catch. 36, maybe the 37-yard line. So on the short kick by West, the Raiders have excellent field position. One or two plays indeed can turn the game around, and the special teams often create those big plays. And Greg Pruitt had the longest punt return for a touchdown this year. That was against the Washington Redskins, 97 yards. Timeout. Raiders ball the lead.
If you want it,
I like it.
if you really like it,
I really like it.
we can help you get it. We're GMAC.
We want it.
GMAC Financing.
GMAC has helped more people buy their new GM car or truck than anyone, with rates that make sense on models people want. All at your GM dealer.
If you really want it, we can help you get it. We're GMAC Financing. We got it.
After you buy your first life insurance policy, you may find it's not your last. You may need another policy as a newlywed, and as a new parent, and as a homeowner, and for when the kid goes to college.
Allstate update. Introducing Universal Life.
Now Allstate offers a single policy that can change as your life changes. Allstate Universal Life. You get the protection of a lot of policies and the convenience of buying only one.
I'll see you whenever.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Floating overhead, the Goodyear blimp, Columbia, from Carson, California. Our pilot, John Creighton, from Orcas Island, Washington. Now, watch out, John. Don't look just at the Seahawks now. The 194-foot Columbia cruising 1,000 feet over the Coliseum. George Simpson is our cameraman.
Lyle Alzado talking to Earl Leggett on the sideline, and Craig has gone to the phones. They were working on his shoulder a little bit earlier. Maybe got a little soreness in that throwing arm.
Leading 3-0, Plunkett from his own 36. Wide open is Barnwell. Hit by Kerry Justin at the 48-yard line. First down, Los Angeles. 11 yards on the play.
Plunkett certainly has played exceedingly well since he came in for an injured Mark Wilson. Seems to have much more patience now, not trying to force the ball, and also dumping the ball off quicker when the pass pattern is not there. But Justin giving Barnwell too much room on that play. And again, that's part of the bend but don't break philosophy. But you can't bend too far with this Raider offense.
Todd Christensen and Kenny Easley, 2 men on their way to the Pro Bowl, and Easley able to get a hand in there and knock it away from the big tight end.
You get a feeling for the quality of Easley's athletic ability when you see on this play how well he stays one-on-one with Todd Christensen. Reads it well. Now he's got to make up about a step and a half. Watch the hands here. Christensen has the catch. Look at Easley. Comes right in and knocks the ball away. Another look at it from Plunkett's point of view, and you'll see it better here. Christensen had the catch, juggled it, was going to make a great grab.
Frank Hawkins, and a tough little back from Nevada Reno, plows to the Seattle 43, about 2 yards short of a first down. He was a well-kept secret out here in the shadow of Marcus Allen. 526 yards, made some major contributions, had his best game in the win at Dallas when Mark Wilson started for the Raiders his first game.
Just part of what we said earlier, the number of ways in which this Raider team can hurt you. Offensively, you start concentrating on Marcus or you start concentrating on Branch, and they hit you somewhere else.
Third and 2. Plunkett looking deep. He's got the first down at the 39. Shelton Robinson made the tackle.
One of the things often said about Jim Plunkett is that he is not a mobile quarterback, and indeed he does not have great foot speed. But he knows how to get those crucial yardage. 2 big runs in the game last week. Right here, he cannot find the open receiver. They rushed him with 3 men. He knows there's only about 1.5 yards, 2 yards for the first down. He's got it. Drops to the ground. It's done.
Hawkins earning about 5 yards to the Seattle 33. Joe Nash and company with the tackle.
Seahawks defensive philosophy. They try and keep everything in front of them. They try and force you to make the mistake. They give up a lot of yardage in the process. And against a team that is well disciplined and will not cough up the football, will not turn it over, they end up giving a lot of points away. They can't afford to give too many to this Raider team.
Oh, with 27, that's the last in the league in giving up yardage. Green Bay with 28. Marcus Allen back in. He's to the 30. That'll be shy of the first down by a long yard. Nash again, the free agent pick from Boston College, making the tackle.
Nash certainly has been a pleasant surprise for that defense. Up inside where Mano Tuiasosopo had patrolled the lanes for so many years. Nash has gotten himself in there and made it tough for Mano to get back on the field.
Third down and 1. 3-0 Raiders. 11:35 left. First half. Allen stopped at the 30-yard line. A terrific tackle by Keith Butler, inside backer from Memphis State. Allen didn't get an inch. So it's 4th and 1, and we'll see what Tom Flores elects to do. He's going to go for it.
We'll see Marcus Allen saying, let's go for it. The crowd agrees. And that's an interesting choice right there. He's playing to win. In the playoffs, you can't play conservative football. There's no tomorrow. Chuck Knox knows the pressure right now, squarely on his defense, right down in the pit. Let's see who can control the line.
Hawkins, and he is stopped, and the Seahawks with a great stand stop the Raiders on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. This time it was Joe Nash who got there first.
You saw the stats, 7 for 7 on 4th down situations. The Seahawks said, hey, not anymore. 7 for 8.
So the Raiders spurned a 47-yard field goal attempt. That's what it would have been from the 30, as the Seahawks, we'll see if that gives them an emotional lift, stop first Allen and then Hawkins. And Tom Flores not at all happy about the results.
Electing to gamble, disappointed, as he should be on that play.
So it remains 3-0 Los Angeles Raiders, 11 minutes left in the half.
Here in the cockpit, you realize that the Mazda RX-7 didn't become a legend merely because of the turbine-like flow of its rotary engine, its slippery aerodynamics, or its impressive list of standard features. This 7's success is largely due to its outstanding value, but even more to its outstanding performance. The more you look, the more you like.
30.
Every 6 months, American Airlines pilots fly thousands of miles.
Tell us right in daylight.
Without ever leaving this room. A flight simulator at the American Airlines Flight Academy. Captain Jim Roberts has been with American 18 years, but he still comes back here twice a year. We taught Captain Roberts a lot, but some things we didn't have to teach him.
Hi.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
Wednesday, Olympic mania comes to real people when American athletes past and present show their stuff. Looks like gold to me.
Seattle indeed was 7-7, then beat the Giants in New England, last 2 regular season games to earn a wild card spot, and then winning 2 playoffs in a row, Denver at home, and the big upset at Miami last week. 4 wins in a row, first time ever in their 8 years. After that stand on 3rd and 4th and short, it's David Hughes. Gain of a couple. They may be king on Warner, and Chuck Knox trying to give it to the other back, Reggie Kinlaw, with the stop.
In the second game here on this turf, Hughes had a big day. I believe he had 79 yards in that contest, and the main reason was that they were zeroing in so solidly on Warner that he was able to break some nice runs. Good runner in his own right.
He also was the man that caught a touchdown pass on a fake field goal by Jim Zorn, and some of the Los Angeles writers who remembered Knox as conservative said, hey, that's not the way you played when you were the Rams coach for 5 years. It has changed. Warner. I bet Warner's second-guessing himself now. He had an opening inside cutting back, elected to go back outside, and ran into nothing but black jerseys.
Warner does such a great job of cutting and working against the grain, but the Raiders are doing a great job on Warner. And what they've been able to do so far is to shut off the inside. They've been able to string things out, keep their people almost like a picket line in front of him.
Enjoyed 2 good days and the 2 wins against Los Angeles, but only 16 yards today. So it's 3rd and 6. Bill Patel, the rookie from Rutgers.
That's the 3rd sack of the day for the Raiders. They're already establishing the fact that if you can't run the football, we're going to put the squeeze on your quarterback, and you're going to have a long afternoon. Piquel right smack in the middle of your screen, working on 59. Blair Bush. Now, it's just a simple matter of taking too much time, and Piquel showing you how quick he can get to the outside and get a hold of your quarterback.
Great coverage downfield. Craig could not find an open man. West to punt. Pruitt. Fair catch at the 38-yard line. So again, the Raiders begin in rather good field position. They have the only score of the game, a 20-yard field goal by Chris Barr.
The who?
The tax people.
Oh, today. Oh, all right. Call the accountant.
Running your own business, you've got to give it your best. And that means personal computers from Digital.
for extensive business software, graphics, communications, plus a revolutionary customer support plan. Not even the world's largest computer company gives you so much.
Oh, hi. We've been waiting for you.
But the second largest does. Digital Equipment Corporation.
I just got a sporty truck priced like some base trucks. The Mazda V2000 SE5. Look, it comes standard with a 5-speed overdrive, steel-belted radials and spoker wheels, sporty stripes, a step bumper, even dual sport mirrors. Pretty sporty for just $59.95.
Sakes alive, sakes alive. Only Mazda's got a sporty truck with just $59.95.
Sakes alive.
Today's championship game is brought to you by Mazda, who invites you to experience the remarkable Mazda RX-7. By McDonald's, sponsors of amateur sports from the neighborhood to the 1984 Olympics. And by the Pabst Brewing Company, brewers of Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer. For the real taste of beer, Pabst is the place. Coliseum in Los Angeles, Tom Flores on the right, Tom Catlin, assistant Seattle coach, on the left.
Catlin, the defensive coordinator who's trying to counter the Raider offense. Flores responsible for that offense, and he's had the better day so far. They put more yardage up and have got 3 points up.
Marcus Allen corralled at the 38-yard line by Shelton Robinson, who played with Lawrence Taylor. They were the linebackers at North Carolina. Robinson was a free agent. Taylor, of course, a #1 pick and star with the Giants.
Shelton, one of those big play people, worked his way back into that lineup and doing a good job of stretching back on that play.
Dave Craig. It has not been a good first half for him nor for Kurt Warner, but the Seahawks trail only 3-0. Looking for Branch. He's got him. And a first down at the 50-yard line. Dave Brown made the tackle for Seattle along with Easley.
Time. Such a critical thing in a ball game like this. And look at the time that Plunkett has. They're coming with the blitz. The Raider offense does an excellent job of picking it up. Plunkett directing traffic, has time to sift to his left. And when you give Cliff Branch that amount of time in front of a linebacker, forget it. He's out there. He's coming to right here. He's being waved inside by Plunkett. And Plunkett hands him the football here. Brown makes the tackle, but it's a big first down.
Branch, the #1 receiver in playoff history in yards. And Marcus Allen breaking into the clear. He's to the 34-yard line. $16 more yards for Marcus Allen.
Great running backs. Change direction. They change their pace. Marcus Allen just flying down the field. He makes about 4 or 5 moves getting down there, but those moves always take him downfield. Look at the way he just accelerates through that hole in the line, sets up the blocks downfield, and then, as a good back will do, make sure that he tackles the football. He's going ahead on the tackle.
At the 35, first down, 6:51 left in the first half. Plunkett to Barnwell, and he is out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Gary Justin, number 26, working as a cornerback on Barnwell, one-on-one on that situation, giving him a lot of room. Watch the amount of room he gives Barnwell. Barnwell drives him to the inside. You can't give a receiver that much room in front of you and hope that he won't catch the ball. Plunkett did a good job of reading the play and delivering a zipper out there to Barnwell.
First down at the 14-yard line as the Raiders threaten to add to their 3-0 lead. Allen tripped up at the 11-yard line by Bruce Schultz, number 58, University of Texas.
There's another special quality that great running backs have, and that is vision. They see the opening. Schultz starts back. Allen saw that and cut. He was going left. The play is designed left. He cut all the way back to the right side. Schultz did a good job of getting back there to trip him up.
At the 11, 2nd and 7. Christensen stopped just inside the 5. It'll be very close to a first down. John Harris made the defensive play from his safety spot. Todd Christensen, who led all of the National Football League receivers with his 92 receptions.
One of the reasons that Christensen has been used so effectively is that Raiders really lack a control receiver. Bobby Chandler did that for them for quite a while, and when Chandler retired, they did not have that middleman. They have gone to the tight end to kind of fill that gap, and Christensen has done a marvelous job of being that receiver.
3rd and a yard. Allen to the 1.
To win in the playoffs, you need big play people. And you need people who are willing to sell out. Watch Marcus Allen here. He's going up and over the top. He doesn't care what he hits on the other side. He made a move like that last week and launched himself all the way into the end zone.
1 yard away. Hawkins, not quite. Frank Hawkins stopped just shy of the goal line, looking right into the eyes of Plunkett as he checks that defense, trying to find some clue as to perhaps an opening that might not have been there when he broke huddle.
They say the eyes are the windows to the soul. You can feel the intensity and the excitement in Jim Plunkett.
3-0. The Raiders lead. This drive started back at around the 34-yard line. He's used Allen throughout. Let's see if he gives him the chance for the touchdown.
Watch the crowd quiet.
Hawkins again. Touchdown.
Allen being helped off to the edge of the field. Looked like he may have dinged himself a little on that last play. He is the blocker. Look at the way Hawkins reaches that ball out for the goal line. Now all he has to do is break the plane of the goal line with that ball, and he's sticking that ball, which is dangerous, but he got it in there.
Chris Barr to try the extra point. And the Raiders take a 10-0 lead. Hawkins capping a 61-yard drive in 9 plays. They check Marcus Allen to make sure that he's okay, blocking for Hawkins on that touchdown.
Dr. Rosenfeld looking at it. Looked like he's looking at Marcus's eye there. Marcus, the blocker here. You see him right there, 32. Drove in, head up to make some room for Frank Hawkins. You see Hawkins sticking that football over the goal line. But right now, some grave concern for the health of Marcus Allen.
But the board house reach of Frank Hawkins makes it 10-0.
The first thing you notice about the Mazda RX-7 is its sleek, slippery styling. Then you notice amenities like contoured sports seats, a redesigned instrument cluster, and 5-speed overdrive. You also can't help but notice the Mazda RX-7's outstanding value. But perhaps most noticeable of all is just how you feel at times like these. The more you look, the more you like.
The Mazda experience.
The RCA SelectaVision Video Monitor is a high-performance television and more. It's designed to get the most from your video components. Video cassette recorders, video disc players, and even your stereo. Simply plug in for a better picture and true stereo sound. The RCA SelectaVision Video Monitor. Quite simply, incredible. We'll open your eyes.
NBC Sports World is back with a strong right jab. Knockout artist Tony Sitson conquered Collins in 2. Now he returns with his sights set on power puncher Don Lee. The ring heats up at a special time on NBC Sports World.
The favored Los Angeles Raiders lead at 10-0 with 4 minutes, 17 seconds left in the half. Chuck Knox does not have the kind of team that can overcome a big lead by such a powerful club as the Raiders. This is critical.
This is a critical series. They've got to get their offense on track, get points on the board.
They may have to take some chances. We'll see. Barr's kick is short, coming down to Dixon on the run at the 15. He's hit at the 25-yard line. And we'll see if Dave Craig and the Seattle defense has any surprises for us when we return. We have a timeout. 4:09 left in the second quarter.
You're about to see the Ford Ranger leap to new heights in quality. Based on a survey of owner-reported problems during the first 3 months, Ranger quality was unbeaten by any major small truck maker. And Ranger has V6 power, more horsepower than Chevy S10 of the imports, and a wider cab than any small truck. For toughness, horsepower, and unbeaten quality, it's Ranger down-to-earth tough. The best-built American trucks are built Ford tough.
Reaching your financial goal is never as simple as some people would have you believe. You have to know exactly where you're going and make the right decisions at the right time. At Merrill Lynch, it's our skill at guiding you through the intricacies of investing that makes us what we are. Merrill Lynch, a breed apart.
The granddaddy of college basketball, Coach Ray Meyer leads the explosive Blue Demons of DePaul against Alabama Birmingham. Or Virginia Tech battles the interns of Dunk, Denny Crum's Louisville Cardinals, next Saturday on NBC Sports.
Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is Channel 3 KYW-TV, Philadelphia.
You can see Marcus Allen working on a mouse under the right eye. Cut, slight cut. You can see the blood on his fingers. There it is. Nothing that'll keep him out of the game. The Seahawks have the ball at the 25-yard line. Craig's arm is hit again. So they've really put the pressure on Dave Craig. That is his 5th pass attempt. He has only 1 completion, that for 5 yards. He's been intercepted, and he's been sacked 3 times. His life has been miserable in this first 30 minutes.
Well, and partly miserable. You see Zorn signaling the plays in, and they've made a change on that sideline over there. Chick Harris normally signals in, and he's doing that, but they got Zorn signaling just in case the Raiders are trying to pick off their signals defensively.
Rod Martin made that last defensive play on Craig. Draw play to Warner. Nothing there. Kurt Warner has been tied up, corralled, checked, and he has 18 yards in 10 attempts.
They've tried to be relatively conservative in what they've done so far, Dick. We've got to wonder if maybe they're not going to have to pull out the stops now, change their philosophy. Knox is going to have to come out of character.
What if Chick was a signalman in the Navy?
I don't know.
Watch him pitch, Russ! Watch him pitch with 33!
3rd down and 8. Dornick. Howie Long rips him down at the 22-yard line.
Listening at home, I think you may have heard one of the Raiders yelling on the sideline. Watch the pitch to 33. And sure enough, the little toss out to Dornick. Dornick has been the 3rd down specialist, and they alertly anticipated the play. Watch it right here. Dornick just circling out of the backfield, but there are about as many Raiders out there as there are Seahawks, and that's Howie Long and Lester Hayes and Townsend and Martin. They all want a piece of it.
So Seattle unable to move the ball again. Their offense has been almost 0, and West another short kick. Fair catch by Pruitt at the 41-yard line. So West's failure to get any depth on his kicks, and there's another scuffle. Otis McKinney, 23, and lots of white shirts. 37-yard punt.
This is something you really can't afford to do when you come to play on Raider turf. They would love to get you in a boxing match, get you in a fight on the field. That's their kind of football. The minute you start playing their game, they've won the battle.
Keith Simpson, number 42, seemed to be the one squaring off with McKinney. Might have been Eric Lane, 37.
That's twice now that McKinney's been involved in those.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Receiving team, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Kicking team.
Well, that's sure the easy way out for the officials. They don't have to really call anything.
Al Davis, controversial character, but not when it comes to wins and losses. This has been the most successful franchise in all of professional sports, the Oakland Los Angeles Raiders. Timeout.
Someday soon, you could very well have the best of everything. But you will have to begin somewhere. And the best place to begin is with the very best beer in the world. The best tasting beer wherever you go. When you think about it, why would you ever have anything else?
Come to think of it, I'll have a Heineken.
January 1st, responsibility for your leased Bell business phone switched from Bell to AT&T Information Systems. Ownership of the phones transferred to AT&T, together with most of the system's technicians and many service representatives.
The same people you trust are now at AT&T.
Call 1-800-247-7000. Remember this number for service or new business phones. AT&T Information Systems.
Well, if that last possession was critical for the Seattle offense, then we'd have to say the same thing for the Seattle defense. Should the Raiders add to the 10-0 lead, then Al Davis and the former right-handed pitcher Don McMahon up there would see maybe an insurmountable halftime lead.
Just a little ad. Davis is wearing the same outfit he wore last week. I think maybe he's got a little superstition in it.
Does he have any other outfits?
They're all the same color, but that's the same one I think as last week.
Total yards, 134-8. Plunkett scrambling again to the 45-yard line, a gain of about 5. Keith Butler chased him down. 2:19 left in the half, and the clock is running.
Dick, in our opening, as we were talking about these two quarterbacks, we talked about the fact that the quarterback really institutes the play. He's got to get the ball into play. He's the guy that can have great impact on what happens on the field, not only on the set plays, but like that, on a scramble play. If he can't make it one way, he'll make it another. Plunkett's a winner. He showed us on that play why.
2 minutes. The 2-minute warning has been given. Los Angeles Raiders 10. Seattle Seahawks nothing.
I'm glad you could be a part of this.
For his enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mr. Sonny Jurgensen.
Vince Lombardi and all the other.
I never thought I would be here, but to be here in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's like coming home again. It's a dream when you come from North Carolina and a little school down there, and then you play at Duke University, a team that really didn't throw the ball very much. Very fortunate to get in professional football.
As an NFL quarterback, Sonny threw for over 30,000 yards. He's still ranked as the #1 lifetime passer in the NFC. Vince Lombardi said of Sonny, the thing about Jurgensen is he always wanted to win so fiercely. All the great ones have that.
Hall of Fame is a great place. I'm sure that some young kid could come in here and look at these things and make a decision whether or not he would like to be a professional football player.
This is where all those dreams come true, in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it.
Announcement furnished by the National Football League. Sonny Jurgensen, he has to be happy today. His alma mater, pro football alma mater. The Washington Redskins defeated the 49ers 24-21. They are in the Super Bowl. At halftime on NFL 83, they'll have the top plays from that National Conference Championship, as well as those from the first half of our game. The winner to meet Washington, the Super Bowl defending champion in Tampa in a couple of weeks.
Chuck Knox. There it is. Faint heart. He's full of those little quotes, and he loves to share them with his team. What he's saying there is you've got to go all out to win. That's about where he is in this game.
Plunkett looking deep and going long for Barnwell. To the 6-yard line, and we have a flag down, and the Seahawks are saying it's against Los Angeles. Well, you knew that was coming. Barnwell using those outs, and finally Justin took the bait, and he went deep.
And, of course, that's exactly what they wanted to see. And now the officials are saying, no way. The holding is against the Seahawks.
Jacob Green was frozen back at the 50-yard line in disbelief. He thought he had been held.
Holding, number 57, defense, decline.
Holding is called against Sheldon Robinson, number 57. Todd Christensen coming out of the backfield on Gaines, driving across. And there is the holding call. Right there.
Meanwhile, Barnwell with a bomb downfield. It's 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Marcus Allen to the 5-yard line. And, of course, the Raiders now with the advantage of chewing up the clock on the run as well with 1:38 left in the half.
The vertical game. The Raiders talk about getting the ball deep. This is on that last deep pass play, and Justin, anticipating the out, had taken the bite, and Plunkett did a good job of getting that ball deep before they could be covered on the second man down.
Plunkett now 6'4", passing, 109 yards. 2nd and goal. Frank Hawkins, touchdown!
Did a good job of mixing those plays. This one right to Hawkins. Hawkins getting by Keith Butler, number 53, and into the end zone. That's easily number 45 who finally stops him, but he's all the way into the end zone for a touchdown.
Chris Barr adds the point. And with 1:06 left in the first half, the Raiders have galloped into a 17-0 lead.
Riding the good blocking of 79 Bruce Davis, 73 Charlie Hanna, and watch the play here, just driving outside. The Seahawks cut off inside. Butler had a chance, couldn't stop him with the arm tackle, and Hawkins with good power puts his feet and the ball in the end zone.
You fans who have been watching football throughout this day will collect, and if you're a Seattle fan, you're hoping with 21-0, Washington leading San Francisco in the second half, almost into the fourth quarter. 49ers rally to tie. Chuck Knox, however, doesn't have the same kind of team as San Francisco. Finds himself down 17-0. Zach Dixon and David Hughes are deep for Seattle. The Seahawks have all 3 timeouts left and 1:06 remaining. Picked up by one of the front men. It was Eric Lane, and he returns to the 32-yard line. Relative of MacArthur Lane. Well, it's from football to the subtleties of golf next week in beautiful Palm Springs. PGA Tour returns to NBC Sports. 25th annual Bob Hope Classic. Last year's top money winner Hal Sutton, Buzzy Zeller, Calvin Peete, slated to compete with a glittering array of celebrities. 90-hole tournament. Of course, that's always one of the most, it is the most watched golf tournament each year. We hope you'll be with us next weekend, NBC. Raiders were offside. Craig to Larson. 44-yard line. That'll be a rarity for Seattle. I think they have a first down.
They also have a penalty, which they will elect to refuse. Greg Townsend, so eager to get his hands on Craig. He stepped across the line. There it is right there. You see him taking the big step. August getting up later as he knows that they've gotten the offside, but it's a free play. They went ahead and took advantage of the play and were able to pick up a first down. Of course, they took the yardage.
It's also a free timeout. That's Sam Merriman, a linebacker, being attended to. Shoulder appears. Largen's first catch of the game. He had 72 on the season, and of course is one of the legitimate stars. Merriman apparently injured on the kickoff return. Ball up for grabs. Mike Davis with the interception as Craig's arm was hit, and we have a rugby play that's still alive. The Raiders keep passing it back, and this is James Davis with it. Now there was a clip or two. The flags are thrown. The whistles are blowing.
We got all of Pete Roselle's laundry out there on the field, and Craig leveled on that last play. We saw them working on his shoulder earlier. I think he may have been hurt on that play. Townsend, one of the men who hit him just viciously from the backside. You see the penalty for clipping being assessed.
No, that's an illegal pass against the Raiders.
All right, illegal pass. We saw a very distinct clip, too. Ooh, there's the shot right there. Howie Long coming from the front. He really got sandwiched on that play. And watch.
Boys, like hearing the count. 7, 8, 9. No, he didn't.
He has had a rough day so far. Now he's going to go and try and make the tackle. He doesn't know if the play's live or not. Looking behind him to see if anybody's coming to level him again.
His eyes are glassy. His jaw a little stiff. He really got rocked. So the Raiders already ahead 17-0. 41 seconds left in the half. And the Raiders have all 3 timeouts. Marcus Allen for about 8. He's had, I believe, more yards rushing than the entire Seattle offense in this half.
This is a situation that Tom Flores has to relish. He's got the lead. He certainly knows that he can run the ball effectively. Plunkett has been effective in the air. All of their offensive machinery is working properly. And on the other side, Catlin, Knox, Prohaska have to be gravely concerned at what's transpiring in this game so far.
Well, Marcus Allen indeed has been quite a weapon. 70 yards rushing, while Seattle's total offense unofficially is less than 20. Manway, it is over 29 yards for Seattle's offense. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited.
Dick, for a long while, Jimmy Zorn started as quarterback for the Seahawks, and Zorn to Largent was a call I heard you make many times. Well, Largent's name has not been heard a lot today, and of course, Zorn has been replaced by Craig, but they need some of that same kind of hookup, and, well, I think they need more than prayers today. They need some touchdowns.
17-0.
They're praying right now for a turnover, Dick.
Good play action. And the bomb to Branch. Actually hit Cliff on the heels, I believe. And Dave Brown is complaining that Branch used a little extra to get him out of the way of the interception. No flag.
Brown did a good job of reading a play and staying deep. Again, the philosophy of this Raider team is to stretch the field. They want to make you cover as much ground as possible. They want to get you down deep. They want to stretch you from side to side with the run. On this particular play, they're not successful, but they put a great deal of fear in that secondary. They make you anticipate the deep play, and that causes you to be back on your heels.
That's really a good call in this situation, too. Less than a minute. You're ahead by 17. Even if they intercepted, so what? You got them down at the 5-yard line. 3rd and 3. Oh, beautiful throw and catch by Barnwell, sliding at the Seattle 33.
Dick, we talked to Plunkett. We asked him, when you throw the ball, do you know that you've thrown a good ball?
No, I always keep my eye on the ball as much as I can. In fact, I'm kind of like a golfer or a bowler. I kind of try to talk the ball into the receiver's hand sometimes when I know it's not quite as accurate, or I think I might have missed by a little bit or more. I'm kind of going to one side and hopping around and trying to guide it into the guy's hands.
You see Plunkett in a red uniform. In practice, of course, the quarterbacks wear all red. They don't want them to be hit by their own teammates.
And here you see a chance. Throws the ball out. He's giving it a little body lean there. And he got that one. Leaned that one right into the hands of Malcolm Barnwell.
And a timeout call by Los Angeles. They have 1 remaining and 21 seconds left. And excellent they have been in this first half with a 17-point lead. And they look as if they're trying to get some more.
Well, they're not satisfied with that lead. They know that the Seahawks team beat them up in Seattle when they had 2 yards in passing offense. Of course, today, Plunkett and the Raiders have not been generous in the turnovers.
Barnwell having perhaps his best day of the season, and we're not out of the half yet. The total offense, Raiders 221, Seattle 16 in this first half. Plunkett to Allen. He's tackled at the 27-yard line. The clock is running. It's 12. The Raiders do not use their final timeout, and now do.
Plunkett just talked to us about how he uses his body to get that ball to move. Well, let's see if he does do it here. Got there. Well, leaning a little bit, sure enough. An easy throw there. Just a little finesse call. He's looking to the sideline here. He did eventually call timeout as they moved the field goal team onto the field.
Chris Barr, who started the scoring with a short 20-yard field goal. His wife, the brunette, Artini, she said for a long time that she thought that his first name was much maligned, as Chris Barr says, because every time she saw my name in print, she'd say, and field goal kicker, much maligned, Chris Barr, the miss from 38. Well, there's not been a lot of negative this year for him. He's had his very best season, 21 for 27. He's kicked his longest from 47 yards. This one would be 44.
Dick, one of the things you need in playoff competition, you need the game breakers. You need a dependable kicker. You need to be healthy. You need to have emotion. And boy, this first half, the Raiders have had all of those things and more.
And more meaning talent. Everyone knew they had superior talent. It'll be 45 yards. David Hum to hold. Can't be any more on target than that. Chris Barr with some frosting. Much heralded Chris Barr, perhaps.
Much heralded indeed. You saw the emotion. It's one of the interesting things about this Raider team. They don't make a lot of big deal about winning. There's an interesting quote from Barr. I asked him, how soon do you know when you've hit the ball well? He said, the second I hit that ball, I know if it's a good hit. And if I'm going to miss it, it goes off to the right. Well, I don't think his wife knows quite as soon. She's got to wait for the officials to signal. Now she knows. And you see the reaction there.
From the kicking bars out of Penn State, Chris Barr versus brother Matt, the booter for the Cleveland Browns. 3 seconds left in this all Raider first half. Jim Plunkett has not thrown an interception in the playoffs this year, nor has he thrown a touchdown. That's a rather interesting statistic, but he has been effective. 63% completion rate. Taking no chances. He skids it down to Bruce Schultz, and the big linebacker returns to the 37 at the end of the first half. Well, this crowd of over 90,000 at the Coliseum, most of them Raider fans, and they were well treated by a near-perfect half of football by the men in black and silver. The score at the intermission, Tom Flory's Raiders 20, Chuck Knox's Seattle Seahawks nothing. And indeed, Cinderella will have to find some new slippers for the second half.
you're looking at style and technology in total harmony. It's the new '84 Ford Tempo. Tempo's unique aerodynamic design contributes to mileage this high. There's technology like four-wheel independent suspension to absorb impact. A new high-swirl combustion engine gives Tempo quick power response. And Tempo's front-wheel drive delivers responsive handling and good traction. The new Ford Tempo. Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
I could use another fire-brewed Stroh's. Hey, there are only 4 Stroh's left.
Alex, we're out of Stroh's. Just opened the car door. He just closed it. He just fastened his seatbelt. Alex, you better be taking your own car.
From one beer lover to another Stroh's.
America's meat and potatoes, McDonald's Quarter Pounder and Fries.
You're working up an appetite. You're a meat and potatoes guy. Looking forward to when you can start working on a quarter pound of Coca-Cola and fries.
Got your favorite, Dad?
That all-American taste from your favorite place.
America's meat and potatoes, McDonald's Quarter Pounder and Fries. Dig in.
McDonald's and you.
Los Angeles, California, the Coliseum, 92,000 tickets sold. Los Angeles Raiders 20, Seattle nothing at the half. Now to NFL 83 and Len Berman.
Dick Enberg from our perch high above the end zone here at the LA Coliseum. Len Berman for NFL 83. You know, in those first 2 Raiders-Seahawks games, there were 13 Raider turnovers and 13 sacks. Not today. There were only 4 first downs for Seattle in the first half. 2 of them by penalty. That's the kind of first half it's been. Now, in the game earlier today, Washington heads to the Super Bowl, beating San Francisco 24-21. Bill McAtee with the highlights.
All right, Lenny, well, for all the talk of offense, the first half would be one of defense at RFK Stadium today. The Redskins, of course, have been so dominant on offense, 51 points last week against the Rams. But there were those who felt that if the Redskins could be beaten, it would be this man who could get it done, Joe Montana. Joe Theismann, of course, has done such a marvelous job running Joe Gibbs' offense, and it was Joe Theismann who gave the Redskins a 21-0 lead. Over the middle of Charlie Brown, he outruns Ronnie Lott. 69 yards this play would go, and the Redskins seem to have things very much their own way. It would be a long afternoon for Mark Mosley. He missed 4 field goals on the day, but he would get one more chance to redeem himself later on. Meanwhile, the 49ers used the missed opportunities to come back. Montana found Mike Wilson from 12 yards out. Suddenly, the game was tied at 21. Then a bit of controversy. Theismann goes back to pass. Eric Wright, number 21, would be called for pass interference on Art Monk on the sideline. That would set up this field goal try by Mark Mosley. And don't you know the pressure was on here. From 25 yards out, 44 seconds remaining. This time it's good. John Riggins goes over 100 yards on the day, and the Redskins escape the NFC Championship game with a 24-21 win. But you've got to credit the folks in San Francisco. Dwight Clark did not play today, and yet they played the Redskins especially tough.
They made a big comeback. Can the Seattle Seahawks do the same? We're at halftime at the LA Coliseum. The Raiders, with, as Dick Enberg described it, a near perfect first half. They lead it 20-0 here at halftime. We're at the LA Coliseum, perhaps the biggest non-Super Bowl crowd in NFL history, over 90,000. The first Seahawks series, Lester Hayes with an interception, 44 yards. This set up Chris Barr's first field goal to make it 3-0 Raiders. Now, early second quarter, the Seahawks defense was hot. On 4th and 1, Frank Hawkins was stopped by Joe Nash. So the Seahawks took over, but they, in turn, could not move the ball once again. So the Raiders came back. Frank Hawkins sneaked in, 10-0. The Raiders on top. Then here was the play that maybe broke the back of the Seahawks for the day. Jim Plunkett, the 44-yard bomb to Malcolm Barnwell. And this put the Raiders in excellent shape to get yet another touchdown. And again, Frank Hawkins, 6 yards away. He sneaks inside the outside cornerback. That made it 17-0 Raiders at the time. Chris Barr hit another field goal,
and that's where we stand at halftime, 20-0, Raiders over Seattle. Now in Washington earlier today, our Dave Marish sat down to talk with NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle to discuss the season to date, all the problems, have they been solved? Let's go to Dave Marish now in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Len. Commissioner Rozelle, thanks so much for joining us. We are at halftime in our game, but of course in real life we haven't begun either game, so we can't talk about today's events, but let's talk about the year 1983. The USFL. Do you consider yourself to be at war with them at this point?
I think it's, I wouldn't say at war. It's the same situation that I've seen 3 other times before. In other words, when you have 2 competing leagues in the same sport, whether it's football or basketball or hockey, there's going to be strong competition for players.
A lot of people are asking why the NFL didn't move its draft date up to compete directly with the USFL. For example, it appears now that Mike Rozier may have already signed with the USFL.
Well, last year, of the players drafted in the NFL, I think we signed 143 of the top 150 that we drafted. Now, there were some taken before I drafted, admittedly, but really a handful. And the clubs, when we discussed this, felt that it was better for them to be prepared for the draft than to attempt to go into it early, to have that period of time to analyze the players and each team be prepared to make better selections.
In coming to terms with the cocaine situation, you drew up a very, very interesting punishment because it not only punished the players involved, but it had a direct effect on their teams. For example, I think it's agreed that by the end of the season, the 2 best teams not in the playoffs were the Cardinals and the Bengals, 2 teams whose early seasons were somewhat wrecked by losing players. Was this intentional on your part as a means of creating peer pressure? I mean, today there have got to be Bengals who are angry at Browner and Johnson for having negated the first half of the season.
Well, of course, the Redskins lost an All-Pro for the season. It certainly didn't affect their record. Putting it another way, Dave, you've got a lot of players that feel when their teammates are into drugs, they're letting them down. They want to clean it up, from Gene Upshaw, president of the Players Association, on down.
More difficult still, I would guess, would be the case of steroids, because here, if there is peer pressure, or if there has been, it's been in favor of using the drug.
We have told them, advised all the clubs, and we monitor them. We inventory all of them, have spot checks during the year, and there's no inordinate use by any club that's come to our attention.
Pete, forgive me for a personal question, but one of the things that one hears is that after 24 years on the job, being commissioner isn't as much fun as it used to be. Is that true? And if so, have you given any thought to doing something else?
You are right in your premise. It's not as much fun as it used to be. I'll certainly admit that. You don't like the problems that we've discussed that we didn't have in the 60s. Mm-hmm. But I've given no thought to, I expect to finish my working career in the National Football League.
The year 1983, what's the play or plays that you remember that pulled you right out of your seat?
It probably wasn't our season. It was the Orange Bowl game. When the quarterback took the ball, set it down, the lineman took it on an in around, I think scored. I got a kick out of that. None of our teams have used it that I know of in recent years. I guess they're too afraid that some big lineman will pounce on the defense. But there's just so many plays that I really can't pinpoint one.
Well, in many ways, I think it's a very demonstrative answer. It shows that Commissioner Pete Rozelle may be commissioner, but he's really a football fan first. Len, you got another half of great action going on the West Coast.
Well, we hope so in the second half. We hope we'll come up with a play that will bring the commissioner out of his seat. But until then, he'll live with the Orange Bowl play. The Steinkuhler touchdown. All right, our Ahmad Rashad standing on the sidelines here at the L.A. Coliseum. Let's shoot it down to him for his thoughts on the first half. Ahmad?
All right, Lenny. First of all, the officials have done a super job in controlling the emotional level of this football game. But the Raider defense came out and set the intensity level, and Seattle hasn't been able to keep up. Despite 3 big plays, 3 big penalties against them in the first quarter, they still came right back and got 3 points out of that. They were on their way at that point. Seattle, the defensive team, hasn't played badly. It's just that offensively, they have not been able to do anything. They're going to have to go in the locker room and turn it up. up a notch as far as their intensity level is concerned. They've got to put some points on the board, or else they run the risk of being blown right out of this Coliseum. Lenny?
Okay, thank you, Ahmad. Of course, Ahmad will be in the winner's locker room right now. It looks like the Raiders, they're on top 20-0 at halftime. After the game, of course, we'll have all the highlights and interviews coming your way. But right now, we'll have Dick and Merlin coming up with second half action. We're at halftime, 20-0 Raiders over the Seahawks. Now, this station break.
Tonight, Michael kidnaps an ungrateful co-ed to save her life.
You've got your dashboard to keep you company.
But will her bad manners get them both killed? Knight Rider. Then he's a real live American hero.
Wow, I love you, Bronco Billy.
Clint Eastwood.
We gotta hit the track.
And Sandra Locke in Bronco Billy, the NBC Sunday night movie tonight. Be there.
Your work's been hard, your journey's been long, but coming home makes it all worthwhile. Then you head for the mountains. Bush. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Bush. Brewed the natural way for a taste as smooth as its name. Bush.
Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountain. Head for Bush beer.
When you need a business loan, does your bank seem to take forever?
It should be any day now. Any day. Any day.
At United Jersey, our bankers value your time as much as your money. We approve some commercial loans in 3 days or less.
Mr. Gavin, you'll have the money in your account on Thursday. Yes, this Thursday.
If time means money to you, talk to United Jersey, the fast-moving bank.
I remember the crash and using our business-to-business directory to find a glazer who would come out right away. We used our business book when we needed a caterer for our first company picnic. When our old copier went on the fritz, our business-to-business directory saved the day. We even found a big selling idea. Whatever you need, whenever you need it, it's in the business-to-business directory. Use it.
Calling all man watchers Monday at 7:30 on Evening Magazine.
With all its history, the Coliseum has seen only one NFL champion. That was in 1951. Van Brocklin to Fears, 80 yards, and the Rams beat the Cleveland Browns 24-17 over 30 years ago. It appears the Raiders have a step up. And Merlin, perhaps the most important statistic, other than the score 20-0, is the fact that in total yards, the Los Angeles Raiders with 226 yards of offense, Seattle 16. What can the Seahawks do to improve that?
Well, they need some big plays. They need to have some power on offense. You get a feeling for the kind of pressure that's been exerted on that Seahawk offense right there. They've got 3 sacks on the day so far. And Dan Reeves, the coach of the Denver Broncos, said there's no team that we have played that can put the kind of pressure on you that the Raiders put on you. And when you have that kind of capability and you're sticking like glue to those receivers man-to-man, makes it almost impossible to get the big play on offense.
And, of course, by stopping Kurt Warner cold, the Raiders have done just what they wanted to do. So it's 20-0 at the half. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
As your family grows bigger and bigger, cars get smaller and smaller. You need a magic wagon that carries 2 passengers and a big load, or 5 passengers and a smaller load. Or an option for 7. It's the front-wheel drive Plymouth Voyager, and Voyager's mileage is unbelievable. Only Plymouth gives you a 5-year or 50,000-mile protection plan. As your family grows, Voyager is the wagon to grow with. Plymouth Voyager, the magic wagon. You gotta drive it to believe it.
This is the place for the real taste of beer. Play cool. Pabst is the place. There's just no doubt about it.
I think there's more flavor to it than other beers. I think Pabst is good beer.
Pabst is the place. Your good friends all around you for the real taste of beer. And all the good times you have here.
You know it's always going to taste good. That's what counts.
For the real taste of beer, Pabst is the place.
When IBM personal computer owners look for good software, where can they turn? To IBM for programs that help you keep up with modern times. Business programs, entertainment, productivity, education, and more. The variety you want with the quality you expect. in the growing library of IBM personal computer software. A well-balanced selection at a store near you.
Wednesday, there's Disorder of the Court with Michael Fox guest stars.
What is that supposed to mean?
Permission to smack him around a little, Your Honor. Night Court following Facts of Life.
Good morning, George. Since when do you listen to Easy 101?
Started over the weekend. A lot of friends of mine have been talking about Easy 101.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, I like it. All of my favorite songs, old and new, but in a nice, relaxing style. And without all the noise. What do you think?
I think you ought to turn up the radio.
Easy 101. Your favorite songs in a relaxing way.
Jacqueline Bisset and Anthony Quinn star in The Greek Tycoon tonight at 11:30.
Well, indeed, the Seahawks brought their weather from the northwest, but they didn't bring their offense. It's been the Raiders dominating 20-0 in the first 30 minutes. Jim Plunkett, Dave Craig tuning up, ready for the second half, and Los Angeles will get the ball first.
Dick, if there is one thing to give Seattle a little bit of a boost, Knox has always gotten his teams prepared to play well here. He's 32-4 playing in the Coliseum, and he has never lost to the Raiders. He's 4-0 against the Raiders. But they've really got their work cut out for them if they're going to keep that series intact. There are the stats, and the ones that jump out at you, obviously the turnovers, the time of possession, and look at the yardage. Minus 9 yards passing for the Seahawks, who have done a great job of throwing the ball under Craig. And, of course, Plunkett, mixing plays well on the field, has had the benefit of real balance.
And the turnovers, normally that's Seattle's sport. 2 turnovers by the Raiders, and the Seahawks have not gotten the ball back once by interception or fumble.
Of course, the Raiders did not turn the ball over last week in that big victory over Pittsburgh either.
So the only times the Raiders have lost this year, their 4 defeats, as we documented earlier, they have self-destructed, but they certainly have not in the playoffs. Norm Johnson, high kick. Lee Montgomery. 35-yard line. Well, the Raiders have been very special in every element of the game. Passing, running, defense, even on the special teams. Recapping the scoring, Barr started it with a short 20-yard field goal after a Hayes interception. Then it was Hawkins plunging from 1 yard to make it 10-0 in the second quarter. Hawkins again from 5 yards, 17-0, and Barr completed the Raider first half with a 45-yard field goal.
Dick, defensive statistics for the Seahawks. They've gotten good performance out of Nash on the nose with 6 tackles and Butler with 5, but they've had to do too much tackling today. It's been a dominant Raider offense.
Plunkett play action, and Christensen to the 41-yard line. And it took 3 Seahawks to stop him. Christensen with about 7 yards on the play.
Extremely important to come out and try and get things going your way at the beginning of this second half. You get a chance to feel the Raider philosophy here. Come out, drop the quick pass, a high percentage pass, put it into sure hands. Easily the man, no, it's not easily, it's Butler, 53, the man working on Todd Christensen. Gaines throwing himself in over the top. And there's Kenny Easley there on the ground, stretching his leg. Must have some cramps or something. But watch Easley here. He's the man who came in, put the clincher on Todd Christensen. Maybe stretch one of those muscles in the back of his leg, Dick.
So while they attend to the former All-American at UCLA, Pro Bowler Kenny Easley, we pause for these words.
Airborne has moved ahead of the pack and is challenging Federal to a race. Now, Federal starts this race with a big lead, but with a staggering load of packages to carry every day. At Airborne, we're just the right size to give you great service and move fast. So fast that Airborne makes most of their deliveries before 10:30 a.m. No wonder more people are switching to Airborne than ever before. And no wonder we say, watch out, Federal, here comes Airborne.
It's the dawn of a new era in microcomputer technology. The Tandy TRS-80 Model 2000 personal computer from Radio Shack, designed to meet your personal computing needs. It's faster, with higher resolution, more storage, and greater expandability than IBM's PC. Its ultra-high performance gives you the leading edge of Radio Shack's computer technology. The Tandy TRS-80 Model 2000 personal computer. The dawn of a new era in personal computing.
1971, the AFC Championship. It was Bob Greasy to the Hall of Famer Paul Warfield. 75 yards. Miami was on its way to the Super Bowl. Todd Christensen and Kenny Easley in that collision both helped off the field. Christensen with a knee and Easley perhaps more serious.
It's right here as he finishes off the tackle on Christensen, and it looked like his foot was locked to the ground.
Fumble, and the Seahawks might finally have that elusive turnover. That's it. That's the play that has helped them through the course of the season and the playoffs. Prior to today, in the last 3 games, they were 11-1 on the turnover table, and Bryant comes up with a loose ball after a vicious hit.
It's what you had to have coming out of the locker room, and as we said earlier, you set the tempo on the first half of this the first series of this second half. Frank Hawkins going back against the grain, took a vicious hit over there. Looked like Jacob Green, number 79, coming. No, Green, I believe, 79 is the man who hits. No, it isn't either. Bruce Schultz. Oh, boy, did he level him. Coming from the outside, that ball just popped loose.
So for the first time, Dave Craig is in Los Angeles territory at the 43. He comes out throwing. Intercepted. Matt Millen. Dornick drags him down at the 47, and Craig's miseries continue.
We talked about emotion. We talked about the fact that the Seahawks have been playing on an emotional high. Well, sometimes that emotion drains so much out of you that you don't have anything left for the game. Maybe that's what's happened to Craig, who has not played well so far in this game. Matt Millen has played well. Read that play excellently. Got a good jump on the pass. Got across to pick that ball up, and he is absolutely thrilled.
Former Penn State star, he had 1 interception during the course of the regular year. It remains 20-0.
You're not just another face along the way to another place.
I'm hoping for a wide body. I probably won't get one. This flight? You sure will.
You're the pride of United's friendly skies.
I reserved 11G in advance. You probably don't have it.
Got it right here. So before you go, my friend, we want you to know, my friend, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
I like lime in my tomato juice. I probably can't get it. Oh.
When you fly United Airlines, you can set your sights a little higher.
Magazine? You probably don't have anything I'd like to read.
Well, here's an article called Positive Thinking Always Wins.
I know. I wrote it.
You're flying the friendly skies.
You probably won't believe this. I had a very nice flight.
You're flying the friendly skies.
NBC Sports World is back with a strong right jab. Knockout artist Tony Sitson conquered Collins in 2. Now he returns with his sights set on power puncher Don Lee. The ring heats up at a special time on NBC Sports World.
Dave Craig, he's completed 3 passes to Seahawks and 3 to the Raiders.
This one to Matt Millen, who jogged right across in front of Charlie Young on that play. Millen had been playing in the earlier 2 games with a bad foot and blamed himself in part, in fact in a healthy part, for the losses early. Done very well today. Seahawk possessions, and you see how futile they have been on offense. They have had bad field position all day, which doesn't help them, and certainly haven't done much with it.
So it's the Raiders at the 47-yard line. Plunkett to Allen. Hit hard at the 45-yard line. The word on Kenny Easley is it's a hyperextended knee. Doubtful that he will return.
Of course, Easley, the best athlete on this Seahawk defense, and you begin to feel the frustration which is settling over that Seahawk bench. They have not given up, but they have got to be feeling the pain of what is happening on the field. Easley would love to get back into this game. He's jogging on the sideline, but Boy, those knees are tough when you hyperextended them. There's a lot of difficulty involved there.
21, Paul Moyer has replaced easily. And the Raiders completing passes at will, and Cliff Branch with that catch is now the #2 receiver in playoff history in the NFL. Fred Biletnikoff with 70 leads the way. Branch now with 67 to tie Drew Pearson.
And here he is in action, picking up that record. Great performer. You see how he just settles in eye to eye with that defensive back and dares him to come up. Of course, the defensive back, respecting his speed, did not do it. Branch hooked out, caught the pass.
First down from the 34. Allen runs right by 2 tacklers. First down at the 23. Jim Zorn, meanwhile, the backup quarterback, the starter the first half of the season, apparently is going to replace Dave Craig on the next Seattle series.
Just a matter of time. Knox, when things are going sour, his quarterback is not playing well. Zorn has always been a big play quarterback. He's going to have a chance here.
Well, he may enter the game behind 27-0 though. As the Raiders already have 20, and they appear to be driving relentlessly for even a larger lead. Almost intercepted. It was intended for Christensen, and Keith Butler, number 53, had his hands on it for Seattle.
When a quarterback has that much time to throw, he's getting great protection from his offensive line. We mentioned the personal war between Lawrence and Green. Green has not had much of a war today. It's been all Lawrence. On the inside, it's been Dalby and the 2 guards, Hannah and Marvin. And, of course, on the other side, big Bruce Davis. They have made it difficult for all those Seahawks today.
Allen slithering to about the 17-yard line. John Harris got a piece of him. It'll be about 3rd down and 3 or 4.
Let's look at Hannah and Davis on the other side. 73-79 on this running play. Bryant stunning to the inside, and Hannah just buried him, making room for number 32, Marcus Allen, who's angry that he didn't get more yardage.
Well, if the Redskins and Raiders meet in the Super Bowl, there'll be 2 giant offensive lines at work, maybe the 2 biggest in the league. Plunkett, first down again to the 12-yard line.
Plunkett had that first down measured. Knew exactly where he had to go. Reached down and grabbed his ribs. He took a pretty good shot on that last play.
Here's a real man, Plunkett. He's known the trials and tribulations. He's had 4 shoulder operations, 3 knee operations, given up for loss by the San Francisco 49ers. A waiver pick, just signed as a free agent by then the Oakland Raiders. That great comeback 3 years ago when the Raiders won the Super Bowl, and they're on their way again. The ball knocked in the air and picked off by Charlie Hannah. Hannah's first reception of the year. He now leads all Raider linemen in catches.
Well, we celebrated that war between Lawrence and Green. Green finally got an arm on the quarterback's arm just in time to flip that ball in the air. But very alert play by Charlie Hannah. You've got to have alert players on the field. Watch it. Coming from the left side of your screen is Green right there. He gets the arm, the ball goes into the air. Hannah just scoops it off. He said, hey, where's my blocking? Come on, guys, open a hole for me.
Boy, his brother John Hogg Hannah said, that's just the way we used to play out in the backyard. Allen hobbled at the 9-yard line. One thing, Merlin, that is quite apparent even from our distant view in the press box, Seahawks, just as they did last week at Miami, they are hitting ferociously.
They certainly are, and that's... I mentioned Knox's communication with these players. He has really made believers out of them. He got them to, his toughest job was to get them to change their self-concept, to believe in themselves. He's been able to do that, and certainly has a great deal of pride in the way his Seahawks have played.
Got bad news for Charlie Hanna. They've just ruled that a fumble recovery, not a pass reception. He remains tied with the other lineman. Timeout by Plunkett.
Well, as an offensive lineman, he can't receive a pass anyway. And, of course, that if Jim Plunkett's arm had started forward, it would have needed him in that pass.
It's a name brand, and it's a savings. It's a good day to be at Kmart.
Where else would you find so many good names at such good prices? So many departments chock full of good products and values to make you feel, well, good.
We've got it and we've got it good at Kmart. Kmart, we've got it and we've got it good.
Keep your eye on the car and the clock. Breathtaking acceleration with handling to match. So don't step on the gas unless you mean it. New Turbo Colt. Imported for Dodge and Plymouth. Built by Mitsubishi. To blast from 0 to 50 in 5.78 seconds. And give you pavement-scorching performance. In the lowest price turbo in America. Now that's an import with a purpose.
Well, the doors have been open for a long time here at the Coliseum, and they're proud that they've hosted every significant professional game. Who is this man? The right side, that good-looking fella, James Dean type? Well, over 30 years ago, that was taken at Skip's Soda Shop near the Juniata campus in Pennsylvania, and a 185-pound offensive guard named Chuck Knox with those steel blue eyes was one of the campus stars. He wouldn't say so.
One of the things that you've got to love about Knox, he is one of the few coaches that lets you know instantly he'd like to be out there with a helmet on. You sense that. You appreciate it. His players love him, Dick.
He's a physical man. He's the kind of coach that's down there grabbing his players. Intercepted in the end zone by the Seahawks. Gregory Johnson, number 27, denied the touchdown. But it was good pass pressure that forced Plunkett into the mistake.
Turnovers. The Seahawks knew they needed a little help today. They've got to 2 here early in the second half. But they need to take advantage of these opportunities and get some points on the board. It's a long ways out of the hole they've dug for themselves. Plunkett scrambling around. Throws a pass that was ill-advised, and it's picked off. He has not made many mistakes today. That was one of his first, Dick.
Jim Zorn is the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks as they take over at the 20-yard line. Well, the same news for Kurt Warner. That number 28 in the football are drawing masses of black jerseys.
Dick, a question coming into this game was, would this Coliseum turf bother Warner? It's a loose, sandy, textured soil, and the root system has been pretty well chewed up by football games here. But the question, really, I don't think it's been the turf that's bothered it. I think it's been the Raider defense and the tremendous surge that they're getting on the line of scrimmage. Good play from the linebacker to shut him down.
Incomplete to the tight end Charlie Young as Zorn offers his first pass attempt. Zorn was the starting quarterback for the Seahawks the first 8 games of the year and was benched in the midst of a Pittsburgh 27-21 win at the Kingdome at mid-year. Craig came in the second half, almost rallied the Seahawks to victory, and then Craig took over and took the team through the playoffs. Zorn, however, as you could see, now in his 8th year out of Cal Poly Pomona, has been the number 1 man at that position for the Seahawks since their inception. Third down, a long 8. Intercepted. It appeared to be Mike Davis, his second of the game. Harold Jackson, the intended receiver. Howie Long's pressure created the interception.
Most of the big plays in a ball game have their roots with more than one man. Mike Davis goes away with the interception. But it's the pressure from Howie Long, number 75, on Jimmy Zorn. One-on-one. He's coming here. He says the most important part of the rush, the first step. You saw it there, the good jump inside. Long driving. You see Zorn dropping back. You'll see the here it is right now from the inside. Number 75 just bulling over the top. And Zorn throws the ball short. Davis is there to pull it out of the air and turn back in the other direction.
Back then, I used to listen to my dad.
Hi, son.
Because I learned to be the best, you have to listen to the best.
Is that right, Dad?
Go ahead, son. How's that, Byron?
That's not as good as I used to do it.
Now I listen to Byron Nelson. And for my investments, I still listen to the best. E.F. Hutton. Who else?
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
Shotgun Rapids, Idaho, and Milwaukee. Folks mean something great to these guys. The shotgun means white water at its best. And Milwaukee means beer. Cold, crisp, old Milwaukee beer. And smooth, golden old Milwaukee Light.
And old Milwaukee.
And old Milwaukee Light.
Taste as great as their name.
You know, guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
We pause briefly for station identification from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is Channel 3 KYW-TV, Philadelphia.
Football Conference Championship. 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Mike Davis's second interception. The Raiders have the ball again. 20-0 lead. Marcus Allen on his way. All the way to the 3-yard line.
Don't play without great blocking. You've got to give a little bit of credit to the right side of that Raider line. Todd Christensen, tight end, getting blocking there. Lawrence out to seal off Robinson, number 57. But here's the man that makes it go. Number 32, Marcus Allen. John Harris in a foot race with Allen. Look how many yards Allen gets after the initial contact. Got another 8 yards.
Well, Allen has not scored today. It figures Plunkett will try to give him the ball. He's earned it. Yeah, maybe not. There it is.
Plunkett did exactly as you suggested he would. Didn't hand him the ball, threw it to him. Again, the flexibility, the tremendous diversity of this Raider offense. They've made a shambles of that Seahawk defense today. Here he comes isolated out of the backfield, gets past the shot there at the line of scrimmage, and he's all alone in the corner of the end zone.
Marcus Allen, as we watch him again, Marcus Allen in, well, not even 3/4, has 120 yards rushing. He's caught 5 passes for 40 more, 160 yards of offense, almost 4 times what Seattle has, and the touchdown payoff.
Tremendous body control as he got past Schultz at Tom Fleury's nose. Hey,
it's over.
He knows.
He's on his way to the Super Bowl. It'll take a major miracle now. 27-0. The Raiders have dominated Seattle today.
Dick, it's almost as if the Raiders just played their way through the regular season and then shifted gears coming into the playoffs. We watched them in action against Pittsburgh last week, and they didn't ever look back. They've done the same thing here. From a fast start, they're still accelerating.
Well, so far, in the 2 playoff games, they've outscored the opposition 65-10, winning last week against Pittsburgh 38-10. Washington Redskins await the winners. Zachary Dixon. Stop at the 26-yard line. Tonight on First Camera, your home is a fire hazard. Toxic fumes, smoke from burning plastic, mighty deadly. What can you do to make your home safer? This and more on First Camera. Next on Knight Rider, Michael saves the life of an ungrateful co-ed. And on Sunday at the movies, Clint Eastwood, Bronco Billy, one real-life American hero. That's all tonight on NBC. That's one of the longest gains of the entire day for Seattle to the 40-yard line, a game of about 14. Lester Hayes, the defender.
And in the Raiders' scheme of defense, you'd think you'd be able to spring as Steve Largent with his clever feet more often, but the Raiders are an interesting team. They really don't give you much room on first down. They play basically the same philosophy of pressure defense on every down. And that makes it tough on all of those receivers.
That's only the 5th first down of the game for Seattle. Complete to Warner. And he is to the Raider 48-yard line. That's the first time that Seattle has used Warner as a pass receiver, and he gains 12 yards.
Warner getting downfield, getting a chance to get some open running room. First time he's had anything but black jerseys around him all day, Dick. Rod Martin, number 53. What a great player he is. He really had trouble making it into the NFL, didn't he, Dick?
Well, they said I was too small. He was 195 pounds. That's why he was a 12th-round draft pick. He said, I built myself up to 205 in my second year, and that's when I stuck with the Raiders. Now he's 225. David Hughes. Boy, look at the energy and the desire to the 40-yard line. A tough 8 for Hughes before Millen and Nelson can make the tackle. 27-0. The Los Angeles Raiders in command with 5.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. And those that have migrated from Seattle, we understand some 5,000 fans down to cheer the Seahawks. And those seats are getting harder. Offside, Warner to the 33-yard line. Here, one of the Raiders had jumped offside. Mike Davis made the tackle.
75, Howie Long, in his eagerness to get across the line and get after the quarterback, had gotten a quick jump, and he said he likes to go against a team that tries to single up on you man-to-man, because you don't have to worry about the traps. He said you can just stretch out and fire out the minute you see anything move. They got off a little early on that last play and they'll take a penalty.
75, defense, decline.
But this is a defensive lineman's dream, Dick. When you know the other team has to throw the football, they've got to put it up. You don't even have to worry about the running game.
James Garner, he spent a long time Raider fan. Right down on the sidelines. Zorn. And that's the first catch today for Paul Johns, who had 34 during the course of the regular season. 4 of those for touchdowns, as you can see.
Zorn with that familiar left-hand delivery, able to spot Johns down the sideline. Johns will give you a little down. Looks like he's going to drive deep. Lester believed him. Pulled off to the side, but you can't blame Lester Hayes. He knows that sideline pattern's not going to kill him. A quick touchdown is the one you've got to defend against when you've got that many points on the board and your opponents don't have any.
First down. This is Zachary Dixon. Dixon, who did not carry during the regular season, used on special teams and runs very well. Dixon from Temple. He was an 11th round pick for Denver. Then he went to the Giants, the Eagles, the Colts, finally this year to Seattle.
Dixon showing us some moves here. The same kind of lateral shaking that you see from the good back like Kurt Warner. The same kind of lateral moves you get from Marcus Allen, but not quite the same kind of speed. Rod Martin, number 53, coming from the backside. Fine play to get back in on the heels of Zach Dixon.
It's a first down at the 11. Seahawks' best drive of the game, but they trail 27-0 with 4:40 left in the third quarter. Dixon's still in there. We don't know if Warner is hurt. Zorn threw it away. Largent well covered. Lester Hayes had him pinned deep in the end zone, and if the ball had been thrown directly to Largent, Hayes had a sure interception. We're checking on the sidelines to see the status of Kurt Warner. It may just be an equipment problem.
Dick, we alluded to the strengthening. There you see them working on his ribs. No, it's not an equipment problem. That's an elastic bandage. Must have taken a shot to the ribs, and they're casing him up pretty good there. He'll be back.
Marcus Allen, of course, having a banner day. Warner has been stopped. Zorn. Oops. Dan Dornick, the intended receiver, as he was making his move over the middle, Zorn was expecting him to go outside.
And that's the rust. Zorn has not been playing. The timing is just not there. Largent trying to find some room against Lester Hayes on the outside, and you see the very physical nature of the Raider defense right there, pushing him outside. And then a look inside. Dornick is the one that's coming inside. He had anticipated the throw back over the middle.
Zorn trying to hit the quickie, but you see Dornick breaking the other way. Dornick, if the Seahawks lose, he's back in medical school tomorrow, has a radiology class, University of Washington. Zorn to Dornick, incomplete, and what a play by Jeff Barnes, number 56, backup linebacker from California. And Dornick said he interfered with me.
Not getting any sympathy from the officials. Not getting a yellow flag either. There's the play. Perfect timing as the hand goes up. The official not able to see any early contact, if there was any there, because he was shielded by the linebacker's body.
It did look as if he had the left hand underneath pushing and the right hand high, but it was a difficult call for the official. Fourth down and 10 at the 11. Good protection. Dornick, touchdown. Whoops, and even at that, they're still wrestling. Number 22, Mike Haynes with Dornick. So, the young man whose father is a physician, a brother a physician, continuing his studies at Washington Medical School, University of Washington in Seattle. He has himself the prescription for a touchdown. 4:01 left in the third quarter.
Coming into this game, Dornick had handled the ball 29 times on third down situations, made 22 big plays. This is classic Zorn on this fourth down situation. Running to get a little extra time. Throwing the ball on the run. Excellent catch. And Dornick knew exactly where that goal line was.
Norm Johnson's extra point try. And the Seahawks on the board. 4 minutes and a second left in the third quarter. They stopped the Raiders once in the end zone, only to find Marcus Allen coming back to score. But on this play, Zorn scrambling, buying time, finds his favorite third and fourth down receiver, Dornick, and 7 points for the Seahawks and Chuck Knox.
Knox finally has something to cheer about. Well, he's given the Seahawk fans their greatest season. Now they have something to cheer about in this ball game.
Jane's like a new person. She doesn't mind last-minute revisions, doesn't even make mistakes.
Now she can remember hundreds of letters word for word.
Now Jane gets her work done faster than anybody.
It's just amazing what a Xerox memory writer can do for your image.
Now Jane goes home on time.
the Memory Writer by Xerox. For more information, call 1-800-828-6275.
You demand quality and durability. Plymouth builds it in. The 550 Plymouth Horizon. Front-wheel drive Horizon. Match it for mileage, Cavalier. 1984 Plymouth Horizon. Match it for price, Escordell. The 550 Plymouth Horizon. Backed with a 5-year or 50,000-mile protection plan.
Match it if you can.
The 550 Plymouth. The best built, best backed American cars.
Friday, Robert Conrad tries to shape up some bad news cadets who think he's all wet. And somebody's in for hard knocks. It's a Friday movie special.
Bothered by an injury, the veteran from Michigan, Reggie McKenzie, has not played in the playoffs, but he's a valuable part of the story. Chuck Knox rebuilding in Seattle, isn't he?
He certainly is. His leadership has been just a very important factor in their success this year.
Johnson kicks it straight away. Clee Montgomery at the goal line. Oh, and this is where Seattle is at its best. High kicks by Johnson, terrific coverage and vicious hitting. Paul Moyer, Sam Merriman down to stop Montgomery at the 17.
Dick, I think one of the most unusual statistics that I have seen in a great while, as we look at the stats on the drive, comes on special teams for the Seahawks, on the number of fumbles that they have forced. Now, look at that up. I'm not going to tip my hand. That's interesting enough to let you read for yourselves, but they have just been incredible in the way they've been able to shake the ball loose on special teams because of hits like that.
Plunkett starting at his 17. By Bruce Schultz, and the Seahawks have it at the Raider 25-yard line. So suddenly Seattle with life. They've scored and they get the big turnover at the 25-yard line, and there's both a Seahawk and a Raider down on the play.
Malcolm Barnwell, the intended receiver, I believe that's Schultz, that's still on the ground. He was the man that took the shot. Charlie Hanna, the injured man, down for the Raiders. The isolation here on Barnwell, and it's a good pass. Skips off his shoulder. Watch it right here. The ball is thrown. He goes up. It's the hands that bounces off. But, boy, that is dangerous. You can't tip that ball in the air. You got too many white shirts back there. Bruce Schultz comes up and takes a real shock to the ribs. Looked like Hanna that leveled Schultz on the play. They were both hurt on the same tackle. Here's Plunkett. You can't blame the quarterback for that one. That's right into the receiver's hands. Now watch the quick reactions of Bruce Schultz, who's had a good day. And here's the tackle that hurt the two of them.
Hanna and also Christensen in on the stop. Schultz, the big 6'6" linebacker, has not gotten up yet.
George Anderson, the trainer, out for the Raiders, along with Dr. Rosenfeld. And the other side, it's Jim Witzel and Dr. Trumbull. They've got all the troops out there today. This is a physical game, Dick. And let's talk about something else. The Seahawks have gotten a couple of other turnovers early. You see the pain there. Looks like Hanna may have come down on that elbow and shaken that shoulder a little bit. See if we can see more of what happened. Hanna will come from the left side of your screen. As Schultz cuts back, Hanna is right there to hit him. Now, I believe he may have hurt himself when he hits the ground. He came down on his elbow right there. I think maybe that you see the pain right there. I think that's when he got hurt.
Seahawks go to Schultz. Have the ball at the 25-yard line. Warner is back in the game. That turnover table starting to even out. Zorn going deep. Incomplete. Byron Walker got away with a little push on the defensive back, Mike Davis.
Walker had a touchdown in his hands, anticipated the ball well, went up, got a hold of it, but couldn't hang on. Zorn had the ball well on target. Watch the play now. He drifts in right there over the top of Mike Davis and gets the ball in hand. He falls into the end zone if he can hang on to that football.
Second down and 10.
Nick, after the two other turnovers, the Seahawks handed the ball back. Can't afford that here. They need the 7.
Warner. Drag defensive play. Van McElroy, 26.
Lyle Alzado ran right out on the field, Dick. Ran right out on the field to congratulate the other defenders.
-3 for Warner. McElroy, his father, a minister for 50 years. I asked him, was he much of a football fan? He said he's always been too busy. Been in the pulpit, still is, down a little small town in Texas.
McElroy has made some believers in his NFL career.
8 interceptions. He's on his way to the Pro Bowl. Zorn with flags down. Throwing deep, a man open, Dornick. Was he in bounds? No, he was out of bounds. No touchdown, he was out of bounds. It didn't appear that he got his feet in bounds, holding against Seattle anyway.
Maybe it's just as well. Again, how many times have we seen Zorn running one way, turning another? You look at it. In the air, 1 foot down, 2nd foot beyond the end line. Good call by the officials.
Tried to drag that left foot, but couldn't quite get it in the end zone.
Do you take the penalty here, or do you refuse the penalty, bring up 4th down? Inclined to believe they would maybe rather take the down than the yardage. No, they're going to take the yardage. That's an interesting call.
It has been a long 3rd quarter, still 2.5 minutes left.
That's a vote of confidence for the defense.
Holding on number 69, offense, still 3rd down.
Trying to read lips. It appeared to be against 65 Edwin Bailey, but not certain. Another look at Dornick. Goes up with the right foot, comes down, and the left foot did not appear to. Zorn going deep again, could be intercepted. Lester Hayes was closest to the ball. That brings up 4th down and 23.
And even though we're seeing a kicking team onto the field, the Raiders aren't going to believe that. They're going to be playing as if it's a regular series play.
Jeff West, the punter, is on. Zorn leaves the field. Injury to Charlie Hanna was to the ribs. He may not return. Steve August has a knee injury, and he will not return to the Seattle lineup.
Game taking its physical toll on both teams.
West really missed that one. Nothing but about 10 yards on the kick.
Very difficult for me to understand that. You have almost nothing to gain. They're going to pick up about, what, 10 yards on the play, Dick?
12 yards is all. And that doesn't make things happy on the Seattle sidelines, but Knox is involved with talking with Jim Zorn. So for the 3rd time, Seattle unable to take advantage of a turnover.
That's been the story of the day. They had done that so well coming in, as we'd indicated. The last 3 ball games, they had taken the ball away 11 times, and it kept them in the ball games, got them their wins.
Marcus Allen ad-libbing his way to the 28-yard line and a gain of about 3. Shelton Robinson made the tackle.
Steve Sylvester has gone in place of Charlie Hanna. He's the man they've put into that offensive line to replace the injured man.
Some might be wondering, Merlin, well, if Hanna can't play, if the Raiders go into the Super Bowl, what happens then? Well, they've got Kurt Marsh they could activate. Many felt he was their best lineman last year. He's recovered now from back surgery and is ready to go. Allen, a couple more to the 29s. Greg Gaines, 56, one of the many free agents to star on this Seattle team. He's from Tennessee. He replaced Michael Jackson at mid-year when Jackson was hurt, and they really like the development of Gaines. He's one of the many pluses in this Seattle season.
You talk about Marsh on the sideline. They also have Don Mosbar sitting over there. There's Marsh right there. He told me, he said, I would love to get in the game. Mark Wilson in the background, he'd like to have a chance too. But 2 other names you got to remember. Don Mosbar is around, and Shelby Jordan, 2. fine talents just waiting for a chance to play in this Raider offensive line.
3rd and 6. Barnwell, he's having a field day. Seattle doubling Branch, and Barnwell is eating them alive. He now has 5 catches for 116 yards.
Malcolm Barnwell, number 80. It's a pleasure when you play with the kind of people that have to be double teamed. That means that you're going to have a chance to go one-on-one. This case against number 42 Simpson. Barnwell drives him off with the pattern, comes back to the football. Plunkett delivers it on time and on target.
Allen. Ooh, you could hear the pads crunch on that one as Moyer came up to make the hit. Well, the point's well taken, too, and it applies to all sports, team sports, Merlin. When you have such good talent, it's like being in a baseball lineup. You get to hit in front of Mantle and Maris, you're going to get some pretty good pitches, and you become suddenly a better hitter than if you were in a team that was down buried in the cellar.
Certainly one of the essentials for playoff success, the kind of balance that forces you to respect all of the things a team can do to you.
Well, Malcolm Barnwell is collecting that. We'll be back with the 4th quarter after these messages from your local station.
Monday's all-new bloopers and TV's greatest practical jokes as Dick Clark and Ed McMahon present all-new pranks and pratfalls. TV's bloopers and practical jokes.
Then is the Air Force hiding an alien warship? If what they know gets out, it could destroy the world. The invasion force is coming.
Be there Monday.
What's he doing?
Just lit a cigar and then he put it out.
Bet it's a Dutch Masters or El Producto.
How come?
They've changed. Most of theirs don't use natural leaf wrappers anymore. Now, Garcia Vega's still an honest cigar. Garcia Vega still gives you the rich tobacco taste of natural leaf wrappers.
He's doing it again.
He ought to switch to an honest cigar.
Garcia Vega, still an honest cigar.
He's doing it again.
This is the moment when you need the quick response and smooth acceleration that comes from Exxon unleaded regular gasoline. It has higher octane than most other unleaded regulars to help free your engine from knocking and pinging. And for even more octane, try Exxon Extra Unleaded. When the moment demands performance, get Exxon. Quality you can count on.
There are more ghosts in the Delaware Valley than anywhere else in the country. Find out why Monday.
This AFC Championship game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation. By Bud Light, the best has a taste all its own. And by IBM. The Coliseum in Los Angeles and the crowd announced at 88,734 is a new playoff record for the American Conference. The previous mark in 1973 when the Raiders played at Miami's Orange Bowl, 79,000 plus, nearly, well, over 9,000 more than that, 88,734.
Statistics continue to reflect the dominance offensively and defensively of the Los Angeles Raiders.
Fourth quarter begins, 27-7 Raiders. Marcus Allen to the Seattle 48, short of the first down. It'll be about 3rd and 4. Paul Moyer, Arizona State. Greg Gaines, Tennessee. Two free agents make the stop.
Todd Christensen, of course, will be celebrated for his 93 receptions. But watch him here as he goes on Greg Gaines. He's the blocker in this case. Stays right on Gaines, locked up one-on-one. Marcus is supposed to run around the other end. Todd says, hey, what are you doing out here? I'm holding this guy from going the other way. And all of a sudden, Marcus appears. Look, he's looking for the runner. Marcus finally comes back and almost runs right over Todd.
Olay!
Olay!
He needed a cape on that move. Warner, bruised ribs. 3rd and 4. Come on!
Plunkett angry. Did you hear him? He's very upset. That's one of the things that's interesting about this Raider team. It's on-field control. Plunkett calls the signals down there. Of course, he works with Tom Flores, and he works with a set offensive plan. But there's no question that they take some advantages of other teams because Plunkett is such a veteran leader. He knows what's happening out there. Bruce Schultz getting some work on the sidelines, but Plunkett is a man who can take advantage of the little things that he senses on the field as a quarterback.
That was a 5-yard procedure penalty, 3rd and 10. Marcus Allen, first down at the 38-yard line. Boy, Plunkett did a great job of just rainbowing that pass over 2 linebackers and right into the leaping efforts of Marcus Allen.
That's kind of like shanking the ball off the tee and dropping it into the trap and rolling it up onto the green and stopping a few feet away from the pin. Not pretty, but boy, is it effective.
Not a bad effort at the receiving end. First down at the 38. Washington Redskins. We congratulate Joe Gibbs' team again, undoubtedly watching, looking for their opponent for the Super Bowl. Todd Christensen and Greg Gaines, an immediate hit at the 34-yard line. Now, meanwhile, Al Davis watching from the press level, constantly at practice. He is probably, of all the owners in the game, there's no question he does more coaching type things. What are his other roles?
Hands-on management, and certainly he is the power source for this team. An incredible job. He lets his players know how he feels about winning and losing, and they have an unusual attitude here. Winning is expected here.
Greg Pruitt with a carry. He's to the 30-yard line, just shy of a first down, picks up about 4. Well, we're talking about management. The general manager, Mike McCormick, who was the coach last year and brought Knox to Seattle. Congratulations to McCormick. Seattle appears to be in good hands, as they say. McCormick, from above, a former coach who knows how to get a team assembled, knows how to be supportive, and then Chuck Knox is man on the field. Seattle has a bright future.
A different kind of partnership than Davis has with his coach Flores, but equally effective in this season, at least up to this point.
Scrambling again, and another first down to the 19-yard line. Eleven more yards for 35-year-old legs.
Plunkett seems to have to find his way to the bench to really get him inspired. Of course, that's where he was when he got the call after an injury to Dan Pastorini. Took his team to the Super Bowl, big victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. And here he is again, coming back to play with such great effectiveness after Mark Wilson had replaced him in the lineup, and then with a shoulder injury, said, hey, your turn again.
First down. Uh-oh. Who's got it?
Seattle.
No signal yet. Yes, now it is the Seahawks. Number 77, Jeff Bryant, but a flag is down.
Have to let the officials sort it out. Marcus took his eye off that ball momentarily, and the ball bounced on the ground. Several people had a chance at it before the Hawks finally picked it up. And
offense, define, first down.
Merlin, this second half has been a microcosm of the Raiders' season. They have tried to self-destruct at times at a 27-0 lead, and their own mistakes are allowing Seattle hope to stay in the game.
They certainly are. Seahawks have not been able to capitalize on the turnovers today, and we'd indicated before that has been the secret to their success during this season.
They have the ball at their 25 when we return.
Those who ride the luge are like a small club, and they're the only ones who know if you're good.
The best never comes easy. That's why there's nothing else like it. Budweiser Light.
Track is clear for number 31, Conway, USA. Track is clear.
You gotta reach deep inside. Bring out your best. Budweiser Light. Budweiser Light. Bring out your best. Budweiser.
best without.
The best has a taste all its own. Enjoy it.
11 minutes, 7 seconds left. Seattle down 27-7, but they've stopped the Raiders from what would have been a touchdown that could have certainly put the game away on the fumble by Marcus Allen. So the turnovers are even 4 each in this game. They don't look as bright as those on the Raiders sidelines, do they? And a tough game. Incomplete. He goes to his tight end, Charlie Young. Well covered by Matt Millen. Well, if Washington and the Raiders should have a rematch, remember in the regular season, Washington beat the Raiders 37-35, and Raiders had a big lead in the second half. That turnover table will be incredible, the comparisons between the two teams.
Hard to believe that the Raiders have been able to sustain the kind of success that they've had when they put the ball on the ground so many times, either through fumbles or through interceptions.
Second and 10. Zorn, and he was throwing from a crowd of Raiders. John's the intended receiver. The Washington Redskins had that phenomenal record this year of not giving up the ball but taking it away constantly. We'll give you that in a moment. First, a reminder tonight, NBC, first camera, then Knight Rider, and Clint Eastwood as Bronco Billy. Please stay with us. Now that statistic on the turnover table. Washington an amazing plus 43. The Raiders a minus 13, a difference of 56 in turnovers, and yet here are two teams going a different way into the Super Bowl. Well, that's with Seattle. Well, Dan McElroy denies Seattle hopes. The man who intercepted 8 passes during the regular season to earn a trip to the Pro Bowl has his first today.
Raiders tipped the scale back in their favor slightly. 5 turnovers to 4 today. They're not going to at least go the other direction. A +1 on today's action. Zorn again under pressure. He's been getting heat all day long. You see him bumped by one of his own offensive linemen there just as he released the ball over the head of Harold Jackson, the 16-year veteran, number 29. But doesn't make any difference now. The men in black have it again.
All 5 turnovers, interceptions by that Raider defense. It's 27-7. Los Angeles, 10:44 left. 1975. Bradshaw to Stallworth. Pittsburgh on its way to one of their 4 Super Bowl championships.
You've never seen anything like it because there's never been anything like it. Introducing our new front-wheel drive Dodge Caravan. Great mileage and shorter than a full-size station wagon. Yet there's available seating for 2, 5, even 7 adults, or 125 cubic feet of cargo. Dodge Caravan. Even its standard protection plan makes it a transportation revolution.
We are Dodge, an American revolution.
When the curtain goes up in a lot of places in Atlantic City, it may seem to be the same old song and dance. Go get 'em, girls.
It's not that way at the Sands as Clint Holmes and Gloria Loring fill the Copa Room with music January 13th through 15th. When it comes to entertaining you, we don't play games.
McEnroe from Wimbledon, Connors from the U.S. Open, Noah the French Open, and 2-time defending champion Yvonne Lendl. 12 of the world's top tennis players battle in one of the most prestigious events in tennis, the Volvo Masters, on NBC Sports.
Like so many millions of you watching this game from Los Angeles, In the nation's capital, it's the Fun Bunch of Washington enjoying the fruits of a victory that'll take them to the Super Bowl.
I knew they were a big team, but that guy with the beard is huge. He looks a little out of shape to me.
I don't remember him. David Marish. We'll get a chance to hear from Washington's reaction to this game. Raiders in front 27-7, have the ball at the 49 of Seattle. Kenny King to the 49. Dave Brown made the tackle. King has not been used much today.
A time perhaps for Tom Flores and his staff to begin to consider taking some of their key people out of this game. One of the Seahawks still on the ground after that last play.
King's first rush of the game, no yards. Shelton Robinson, who had his two biggest games against the Raiders. He recovered a fumble in the first game, went 9 yards for a touchdown. And in the second game, when Seattle upset the Raiders here, he had a 12-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Not bad for a linebacker.
Not bad at all. List of the Pro Bowl bound players for the Raiders, and as is fitting, the AFC champion is sending a whole hat full of folks. Christensen, Hayes, Hendricks, Lawrence, Long, Martin, McElroy, Pruitt. They've earned the trip.
Yeah, the Raiders were the best record in the American Conference, 12-4. Washington 14-2. And you think about that game at DC Stadium, the Raiders ever so close to beating Washington. Had they, both teams would have finished at 13-3, and it appears that'll be the matchup in the Super Bowl.
Dick, people watching at home may wonder, as a player, looking at a team you have to play next week, what do you watch? Now, the players' eyes are really trained and drawn to their specialty on the field. As a defensive tackle, I watch the interior line. I watch the other defensive tackles. As a receiver, you'd be watching defensive backs and watching receivers. You'd be almost thinking your way through those situations, putting yourself into that game, anticipating what you would do, trying to visualize the match